Good night, good night, good night. Oh, what a thing. I think somebody done it. Done it. Good night, good night, good night. How you guys doing? Love ain't perfect. Play that song now before we start. Turn it on. So, you know, you want to play with the whole song. So, ladies and gentlemen, good night. On this platform, on BOLO V&R 2.0, big up Ryan and big up Jacqueline. Remember the super chat is available. Remember the Cash App, the PayPal, the Zelle, all that stuff, right? Remember the memberships. Remember you can purchase memberships for other people as well. That is an option to gift other people gifts, memberships. You can give people memberships. All right. If you're watching, person know me I talk. If you're watching, that's what I was talking about. All right. So we have who that we have in that place? So Selena, who that? Portland, East Portland, that place. East Portland in the place. Go on, East Portland. Bless up yourself. So, as me I say, ladies and gentlemen, so we see Julian Roberts run up and then get freed, but I play 2 videos before we get to that. Let's do this.
Let me ask you, give you an opportunity. Young Ricardo Brooks on a lot list, those listening, never heard of this. But is it true that there are occasions in Mississauga to physically beat you? Yeah, I'm not ashamed to say that, Cliff.
Desmond Mackenzie. You tell me, say, you are telling me, Desmond Mackenzie, that Siaga physically beat you. So you were a victim of racism. You were a victim of physical abuse, mental abuse. Another man beat you. And you're not afraid to say that? This don't look good. This don't sound good. None of this. None of this. There's no way I could be a part of one party and the leader for the party beat me. And I'm proud of abuse. Lady J, what can go so? Somebody need to check Desmond Mackenzie. I force me either there. Yeah man, you need some psychiatric evaluation. Where's the anger, bro? Who is okay with getting beaten as a man? What man is okay with another man beating him? And he's not your father? He's not your physical father? Bossy or slave, not true. A white man whooped your ass. You think, let me tell you something. You think Marky G could have come in the PMP and have them the type of energy towards no black man in a PMP? No man, I respect man, I'm mad. I respect, I must want cult. It's gotta be a cult, Lady J. It's got to be a cult. Ain't no way, no boy, no time, no how. Man like Carl, Ivan Wagwan, can you imagine a white man beat a black man way back then. That's what I'm saying. Like, Dr. Data, can you imagine a white man beat Dr. Data and Gamble? Dr. Data and Gamble say, yo, I'm not afraid to say that. Bro, something wrong with you. As a big man, something wrong with you. I tell you that. When I ask you that Desmond McKenzie, something wrong with you. If you come out and admit, say, another man beat you and he's not your father, and you're not afraid to say that, and then you want to be a bully to who? When a man beat you, or you to be a bully to anybody else? You're supposed to be the humblest person in our world, fam. There's no way that you could be a bully to anybody else. But me nah hold on panic. You see next week when Marky G pull up, Marky G, more make them walk out like when they do this.
When the former speaker was forced to resign as a result of an integrity commission investigation, the move to replace her with the wife of the Prime Minister, so that the head of Parliament is now the spouse of the head of government, really does not sit well with the tradition that the Speaker must act independently of the government of the day. The Speaker is intended to be independent and must act independently of the government of the day. That is the tradition. That is the tradition. The failure, Mr. Speaker.
Members.
Remember this? There's my McKenzie are flashing out and walk out. Andrew walk out, everybody walk out like Andrew.
The failure to identify the so-called illicit 6 MPs.
Watch everyone. Hey, I want him to tell you. You see, Mr. Julian Robinson is not a soft person, you know. Yeah, the man I deal with everyone and go outside. Go outside. Now your Prime Minister fire. Go outside.
Go outside. Go outside. The Prime Minister fire you. Go outside.
Your Prime Minister fire you. Go outside. Jamaica, no sickness or jet line wagon. Guys, remember that the membership is open. Become a member of the platform. Oh my God.
Your Prime Minister fire you. Go outside. Your Prime Minister fire you. Your Prime Minister fire you. Go outside. Go outside.
When the former...
Oh my God. Yo, so, Ivan, what you doing? Go outside every alarm. Yo, you know say my face spin him rough can defend his guy, Andrew. Yo, on a serious level though, big up Mark Gully. That's why them don't like him, that's why them can't stand him. Them know say Mark Gully is not afraid, you know. Them know that, you know. Them know that. Mark Gully not afraid of them. Mark Gully not afraid of them. Mark Gully is wise. I understand? Mark Gully is wise. I think Mark Gully not realize how we deal with integrity boss that man, Marky G. Never lie. But ladies and gentlemen, outside of them getting upset about that in the budget debate, Julian Robinson took up the mantle recently and said this.
Now recently I heard the Prime Minister, maybe last week, justifying the continued extraction by arguing that the funds are being directed to other national priorities.
Shameless. Shameless.
So I want to ask the Prime Minister one question. When the PMP had to do it between 2013 and 2016, were we not also directing those funds to national priorities? Were we not also using that money to meet the primary surplus that kept Jamaica out of default? Were we not using it to restore the confidence of the very international partners whose support the government relies on today? What exactly was different? What principle was being violated? You have found your voice. You have found your voice now. I'm glad you found your voice now. I'm glad you found your voice now. Because I don't know which Andrew Holness are talking to, whether it's the one now or the one in 2015. So what was different? What was different now than it was in 2013? The only thing that was different was you were on this side and we were on that side.
So the heat reached Andrew, ladies and gentlemen. See? And Andrew, in the last, like a day ago, in response to Julian Robinson on his TikTok page, put out them two old videos. Shameful. Listen to this.
When it comes to 15-year-old fiscal discipline, PNP, you are not the father.
Right off the rip. Right off the rip, that's a lie. And you see, this is why I don't have any respect for this man. Because Julian Robinson literally outlined who is the father of fiscal discipline. As a matter of fact, let me go to the video that I played earlier. Because as much as how they tell the lie, we have to debunk the lie as much as how they tell it. Let me go to Miss Lagarde. Let me go to this video. Alright. Let me go to this video with Miss Lagarde. This is, see it here? Let's go.
As you heard earlier, Christine Lagarde, the managing director of the International Monetary Fund (IMF), is in Jamaica on official business. Madame Lagarde, who is a native of France, was elected managing director of the multilateral agency on June 28, 2011, succeeding Dominic Strauss-Kahn. Her visit to Jamaica underscores the fund's support for Jamaica's economic reform program and signals her commitment to assisting the wider Caribbean. Just last week, the executive board of the IMF confirmed that Jamaica successfully passed all 4 tests on the year 1 of the extended fund facility. The country is set to receive another $70.9 million, bringing total disbursements to date to $414.4 million.
In the first year of program implementation, key reforms that had been pending for a long time were implemented. In particular, the tax incentive legislation approved by Parliament in December 2013 and the fiscal rule approved in March 2014. But there are other major reforms that are on the must-do list, including improving the collection of taxes.
Want to hear that? Want to hear that? This was in 2014, June 2014. She spoke about the progress that the People's National Party government was making under Portia Simpson-Miller, right? And still, we have some ways to go. This was in response to the debacle of the Jamaica Labour Party, the fiscal indiscipline, the fiscal unprudent behavior, the fiscal failure of the Jamaica Labour Party. This was a direct response from the People's National Party. But Andrew Holness is talking about PNP is not the father and not the mother. Let's continue.
So that there is no evasion and there is collection. Including major reforms that are on the must-do list, including improving the collection of taxes so that there is no evasion and there is collection.
So improving the collection of taxes so there's no evasion and there's collection. Listening, right?
Modernizing the public sector and improving the business climate in order to pursue the attractiveness of Jamaica, which has caused foreign direct investment to significantly improve and increase over the last 12 months. Consistent implementation of these reforms will boost investor confidence and growth.
We are making further improvements in the business environment and implementing major projects in a timely way to serve as catalysts for growth and development. It is also the shared commitment of the government and the IMF that vital social safety net programs will be maintained to protect the most vulnerable, even as we press ahead with economic transformation.
Madame Lagarde also responded to concerns about the slide in the value of the Jamaican dollar.
Well, I think you have to look back to where we were a year ago, where growth was collapsing, employment was going up, where reserves were running out.
Growth was collapsing, unemployment was going up, and the reserves were running out. That's what the Jamaica Labour Party left the PNP in. No relationship with these monetary bodies overseas. Totally destroyed that relationship. Mama P had to rebuild it, or else Jamaica would have suffered. Even now we would still feel the suffering. Can you imagine what Jamaica would be like if we did not have that relationship that Mama P restored in the last 10 years? Jamaica would have been sold out completely. Just look at the track record of the Jamaica Labour Party. They have sold out future revenue. They have nothing left to sell out. They have to still be going to the NHT. So imagine if we did not restore the relationship with the IMF. Imagine where we would be. The fiscal discipline that they were boasting about, that would be non-existent. Jamaica would be sold to the lowest bidder under the Jamaica Labour Party. It's a crying shame, but it is actual reality. Let's continue.
And where Jamaica was bleeding its reserves in order to support a currency that was clearly overvalued. So as a result of that, and to give all levers to the Jamaican authorities, and I'm talking here about the finance minister and the governor of Central Bank, it was necessary to determine a devaluation of the currency so that it could be at the right level of appreciation. It was clearly overappreciated. A lot has been done. There's still a little way to go, not much, still a little way to go, but it's clearly on a net value that you have to determine that evaluation. I don't like to use the word devaluation, and I prefer to use the word right valuation, because it may well be down the road, as the program proceeds, as growth picks up, and as the reserves build up, that it will not be devaluation forever, and it might revaluate, okay? So, right valuation has to do with determining the right currency level on the basis of production factors, on the basis of inflation differential, on the basis of competitiveness factors. Jamaica has the IMF full support. We stand ready to help in any way we can, but of course it is up to the Jamaicans, with the public and private sector working in close harmony, to build a bright future.
Jamaica, thanks.
This was 2014, June 2014, ladies and gentlemen. If you want the exact date, it was June 27, 2014 on the JIS website. IMF head visits Jamaica. All right, let's continue.
Hello, I'm Jovan Johnson with the IMF Tracker. This week, Jamaica's debt to GDP ratio declining. IMF invites civil society to give its input on its surveillance role, and the Planning Institute of Jamaica has positive economic forecast. These stories in a moment, but first, our question of the week. What is a shoestring? Stay tuned, the answer comes up at the end of the program. Jamaica's Finance and Planning Minister Dr. Peter Phillips says the country's debt to gross domestic product GDP ratio is on a downward trajectory. By the end of the 2013-2014 fiscal year, on March 31, it's expected to be 8% lower than it was at the end of the previous fiscal year. Prior to Jamaica's agreement with the International Monetary Fund (IMF) on May 1 last year, the debt to GDP ratio was at 147%, but by the end of March, it's expected to be lowered to about 139%.
Want to hear that? That was what the JLP left us. 140-something% debt to GDP. This was done to March 12, 2014. This video, and this is on the cleaner. Let's continue.
Speaking at a forum recently, the finance minister said unless Jamaica has a wish for national suicide, the government has no option but to make the current economic support program with the IMF a success.
You hear that? Let me play that back. This is how desperate of a situation the JLP put us in.
Be lowered to about 139%. Speaking at a forum recently, the finance minister said unless Jamaica has a wish for national suicide, the government has no option but to make the current economic support program with the IMF a success.
Unless Jamaica has a national suicide mission, they have to make sure that this agreement with the IMF works. That was the level of pressure that the Minister of Finance of the People's National Party was under, led by a Mama P. Just understand what I talk about. And we have Andrew Owen saying this crap. This foolishness when I talk right as well.
When it comes to 15-year-old fiscal discipline, PNP, you are not the father.
That foolishness. He's the one that is not the father. The JLP is the one that is not the father. So we're going to beat them with more facts to show them that they are not the ones that is not the father. Let's continue.
The IMF is seeking civil society's views on how to improve the effectiveness of its surveillance. Surveillance refers to the fund's role in overseeing the international monetary system and the monitoring of the economic and financial policies of its 188 member countries. The consultation with the civil society organizations will form part of the 2014 Triennial Surveillance Review. This review is a periodic evaluation of how well the IMF assesses the risks and prospects for economies around the world. The IMF says its consultations on the 2014 review will be opened until April 30. Director General of the Planning Institute of Jamaica, Colin Bullock, says the short-term prospects for the Jamaican economy during the March 2014 quarter are positive. He says this is based on expectations of heightened confidence. Mr. Bullock says the heightened confidence results from the successful completion of the third quarterly review of Jamaica's IMF program. Meanwhile, he says
these are the tests, Matthew, big up, good night. Going into the hospital for operation tonight. Pray the process through. God is with you, know yourself. But these are the hard tests that the Jamaica Labour Party ignored. As a matter of fact, because they ignored the hard tests, the PNP was faced with harder tests. Like the video, guys. Right up here, sir. Up here, say one thumbs up button. Yeah, man. Like the video. 35 people watching, we need 35 likes. There's a thumbs up button up there. Just press it and like the video.
Impetus for inflation during January was largely due to results from the successful completion of the third quarterly review of Jamaica's IMF program. Meanwhile, he says the main impetus for inflation during January was largely due to higher prices for the categories furnishings, household equipment, and routine household maintenance. And to end our program, the answer to this week's question. The question again, what is a shoestring? A shoestring is a slang term used to describe a small amount of money that is considered to be inadequate for its intended purpose. And that's where we end our trek this week.
So there was an actual IMF tracker Big up Mrs. Pusha Simpson Miller for stabilizing back. Of course, she and her team did an excellent job.
Your name call, but it is another goaling that is the father.
So Andrew Honest wanted to suggest that Bruce Golding was the one that is responsible for fiscal discipline and prudence. Let's take a journey through the history of economic management in Jamaica. Yeah.
If we're going to have a history lesson, we must just do it honestly.
Opposition spokesman on finance in their presentation attempted to whitewash their record and suggested that analysis of the country's economic performance does not go back far enough to do justice to their contribution. I do not believe they can complain if we start at independence. We cannot lose the battle for the minds of the people of Jamaica. Otherwise, we are at risk of having the people who made the mistakes of the past repeat them.
Me totally agree with that. All I elaborate them vote back in this party, I wanna make a big mistake. Cause I repeat the past mistakes. Let's continue. Cause we're going at it.
Let's start with inflation. The table now being displayed shows that the average annual inflation under my administration has been 5.5%. The lowest under any administration since 1972.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what they call the omission of facts. This is what this is. Let me tell you something. One on there for me. Let me go over here, so I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it. Just believe me, so I'm going to find it. And Jonas could have deal. He not escape this judgment here tonight. You hear me say? Me say he could have deal Jamaica and not escape this judgment here. I'm going to find the article here. Because I have it in one of my group then. Just need to find it. Just that. That's all. I don't know. You just need to find it. It there, I'm sure it's it there. Alright? Alright, so over today, IMF. After debate exchange in 2010, yet another IMF support program that went off track. Listen to this, 2010 now. In 2011, the country was on the verge of economic meltdown. Who did in a power 2011? The JLP, Bruce Golding. This is the IM. As a matter of fact, I'm sure because I don't want nothing to say, but just a talk off my mouth. Let me show you what I'm going. Make me show you what I'm going, sir. Alright? Because them feel like say chattings. See the Jamaica. What that? IMF lending case study of Jamaica. Let's scroll down a bit. Program ownership. What does this say? What does that say? Want to see that? In 2011, see there, sir? In 2011, the country was on the verge of economic meltdown with no access. I'm going to put it and highlight it for the lab rat them and Jonas lose again with no access to international capital markets. Jamaica once again turned to the IMF in the spring of 2013 for financial support, which its preceding weak track record. 2013, who was in power? The People's National Party, which the preceding mean before, weak track record of reform, significant budget financing from international and developing partners, way less forthcoming. Jamaica needed a second debt exchange and a primary surplus of 7.5% of GDP to stabilize the economy and address a long-standing structural challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, see there, sir? Structural challenges. So this is why the People's National Party had to take out the NHT money of 11.4 billion for temporarily to reach this surplus, the primary surplus of 7.5% of GDP. That is the reason why they use the NHT 11.4 billion dollars for that 7.5 percentage of GDP. I am showing you the real evidence in real time. Andrew Holness is a liar. Andrew Holness is a deceiver. Jamaica, I'm not afraid to say it. I have the evidence right here, so it is disgusting. You hear what I said? We are beat and teach him tonight. If you want these information and these evidence, we have it right here, so www.imf.org. This is the official IMF page. And on me says so, IMF says so. It's right there in front of you. Here's a chart. 2013, 2014, 2015, this is what public debt percentage, national international reserves. This is what they were talking about in Parliament. See it here, this chart right here, sir. You hear what I said? This is what they were talking about, Jamaica. PMP set this motion on track. Yes, let us go back and look again. What does it say right here? After a debt exchange in 2010 and yet another IMF support program that went what? Off track in 2011. Let's go to Google. Let us ask which political party, who was the Prime Minister? Not even for that. Who was the PM of Jamaica in 2011? See there? Who is that? Bruce Golding. We don't talk. Bruce Golding is not a PMP. See there? The PM that held office was Bruce Golding. And what it say right there, so until his resignation in October 2023, after which Andrew Holness was sworn in as the 9th Prime Minister on October 23, 2011. So Andrew Holness was the Prime Minister from 2011, October 2023 till what? 2012. You hear me say, Jamaica? All right. Andrew Holness oversaw that debacle. All right? So, that's one. Let's go back further. I'm going to show you all these things serious. Because them people that take people think for joke, you know. Yeah, man, and take a thing for joke when it comes to the information, see? And we're not going to accept that. Alright, this is a Burkina Faso, hold on there. No, not that more, see? No, not that more, see? That the part that now I'm going to need to see that neither. RJR. Let me see them something. Hold on there. I'm going to find the article. I'm so determined, you guys don't even understand. I'm here for Andrew Holness tonight. He must to lie. If he stop it, I'm not stop beating him out of order. Jamaica, him out of order. You understand? He must tell the truth. Him don't have no shame. After Julian Robinson beat him and mash him up in a parliament, he come with 2E that video I put on TikTok. Like say, I say something. Well, make we go to the facts then, no? Make we go to the facts then. For show him what time it is. Damn out of order. Let me see if I say it. Hold on. See if I say it then. No, like that. Not on it. Not on it neither. Not on it. soon find it here. Alright, none of them there. Go to the next group. Reference. See if I answer. No, that's not the one. Let us see if it's this one. No, that no, none of them. I'm sure about that. None of them there. Group 19. Only for this one. No, that's not the one. Jamaica Global needs down the drain. Supreme Court says act is unconstitutional. Alright. That is important, but not that I'm looking for right now. Oh my God, sorry. Let me just put that back, reopen. Yeah. Oh my God, we can't have no problem with that one. That. Alright, next. Going down the line, Jamaica. That's not the one either. I'm going to open back all of them. TRN needs. That's not the one either. I have all of my group them I sign in Jamaica. Finances. I could see. The nationwide. Alright. What is this? Alright, no, that's not it neither. Alright, I'm gonna play this and come back. Give me a second.
This is within the inflation target of 4 to 6%, despite the effect of global inflation resulting from the post-COVID supply chain shocks and geopolitical conflicts. Without the post-COVID inflation spike, we could safely project that our average inflation rate would have trended around 4.3%. The period of highest inflation in Jamaica's history was under the PNP administration of 1989 to 2007. During that period, inflation averaged 18.5% per year. Listen to this, resulting in cumulative inflation of 2,249%. A better way to understand it, Madam Speaker, is that in 1980, a loaf of bread cost less than $1. In fact, it costs about 50 cents somewhere around there. But in 2007, it cost $130. When the PNP left office in 2016, the unemployment rate was 13.7%. Now the unemployment rate is a historic low of 3.5%, almost full employment. 2016, we have created 253,000 new jobs. That's an average of 28,000 new jobs per year. The last BNP administration between 2011 and 2016 created an average of 15,000 jobs per year. Our rate of job creation is nearly twice that of the PNP. Jamaica today has the strongest economy since independence. Jamaica has a bright future. We are not going back to the failed policies of the PNP. We look at the exchange rate. The table now being displayed shows that during the past 9 years, the Jamaican dollar has depreciated by an average of 2.9% per year relative to the US dollar. This is by far the lowest rate of currency depreciation under any political administration since independence. By contrast, Madam Speaker, the dollar depreciated by an average of 8.5% annually under the last PNP administration. And the worst currency depreciation took place under the PNP administration of 1989 to 2007. When they assumed office in 1989, the exchange rate...
Top tell lie. Hey, sometimes I have to just make them talk like them when they talk, so you can beat them with the truth afterwards. Yeah, man, we can go and run up in mouth, man. You never know. We can go and run up in mouth, Jamaica. So you have to do them, you know. Travel advisory. Oh, they might travel advisory one. Alright, man. I don't need that. Sorry, excuse me. I don't need that. Group 4? Where group 4 I say? Where group 4 there? Group 4. What is in group 4? Is it the same thing? Is this group 4? Let me say group 19. No, that's not group 4. That's group 19. Alright, make that one there still. That one then not have it in there. Alright, after group 4 we have Jamaica. Alright, this is not the one. That one then not having oil in Jamaica. This might have it. It might. I said that West Indies. This is when we're gonna investigate the Shirley them. Yeah man, the Shirley them, you know? Yeah man, how them position for themselves to make a bag of money off of Jamaica tax dollars, but that's our next conversation. Anyway, investigation. Alright, that the one they not have it in neither. Which other one there? So life and living. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. It's not our today. Where's that article? Oh my God. Mr. Lonesome talk about that article all the while. I have it saved, you know? You know, so I have it saved. I look for. The article debunk every foolishness that Andrew talk about. And it come from a labor writer. That make it so sweet. That make it so sweet in Jamaica. It make it so sweet that it's coming from a labor right. You never know? Not true. IMF. Alright, so that's not it. Twitter links, TikTok. Let's see. Oh, there's more. Oh my God, there's more. Look over there, so. And things are done. We just come. Things are done. And the things are done. And the things are done. We just come. All I mean now. And the things are done. Alright, so this is group 17 again over here, so. So we can just. Group 17. Don't delete the group. Close that. Yeah, man, close that tab. We don't need to delete the group. Group 4. Damn. Where is it? Please tell me say there, so. Oh, no. It's not here. Oh, my God, bro. Alright, I'm going to my star. I'm going to my star. My star content, yeah. Favorite. What does it mean to be gent? Blah, blah, blah. These are all starred. Blah, blah, blah. Effects of long-term exposure to blah, blah, blah. COVID. Or this. The people who are rock with me, continue to rock with me, trust me. Pathological liar. No, me I tell them, listen, I am so motivated tonight to not even understand. When I heard the first part of Andrew Holness' speech, when he put up on him TikTok, me say, what a man lie. The man not no shame, brother. The man not have no shame. You understand what I did that? Me say, yo, you know what? Make me come look for the evidence. You know how much time Mystic play that article, with this try Andrew? Alright. As a matter of fact, you know, say the best way that we find it, Mystic Sensations are supposed to have the man thumbnail upon him. So, hold on, me I go find the video. Me I show you, me I go find the article fast. Zine, Mystic Sensation. Alright, cool. Boom. The man faced upon one of the live stream them. The labor right man will expose the labor right government. So I go find the phone. Hold on. Alright. Alright. Yes. Alright. Let's see if I find it. Okay. Alright. Find it faster. So far down. When they? I'm sure something have it on in face on the thumbnail one at a time, man. I probably have to go to my live when I'm my them. Cause that me for you know. Cause I want to my video them me have to go to. I see it. That's some shit I see it already. Oh, come on, bro. Alright, man, go to my video. Go to my video. Go to my video. See that? Hey, boy. Hey, boy. Yes. Go to the title of the video, please, and thanks. Go to the title.
Jamaica's economic management has taken a turn in fairly recent times.
Bro, come on, man. You need to go up to the top of this video. Let me see. This is the article I talk about, Zin. That article I talk about. One more. See that? There we go. Jamaica debunking the myths about the 80s under Edward Seaga. Alright. Google. But I ramp with BOLO here. You see how I go to work? Jamaica debunking the myths. I want to know ramp with me about the 1980s under Edward Seaga. Favor fart and Jonas boy come. See it, ladies and gentlemen, some go to work, hear that? Some go to work. You understand? See the it all start already. So make me just copy this and put in one of them group here. You see. No, I know that group they have been too much up already. Too much. Too much. Too much things they know that. Jamaica finances are one of them. Finances. Jamaica finances. Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention to your screen. Zane, I'm showing you something. Look at this. I'm not even have to go further. See there? In the 1980s, when Seaga came to power, the Jamaica debt ratio was 63%. The debt ballooned to 262% of GDP in the 1989. I don't want nobody chat to me. Oi, I say I don't want no lab come over here and chat to me. I want to look for evidence. 262% of GDP in the 1989. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. The People's National Party did not run in that election. Yo, let me go up to the article. Yo, listen to me, man. Listen to me, man. I don't want a lab rat come ramp with me over here. When I say me have the evidence, me have the evidence. Big up. Seaga total political life did not begin at the end of this period. Zane, look on that. Let me see me find Michael Manley because he never contest the election in that time. Zane, it's very important to note that. Alright, lecturer, blah, 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 later RJ, blah, blah, blah. I have been in political media 33 years. It's a labor right, you know, see me? Labor right. That is a labor right. Serve with the labor right. He might tell the story. I might tell the truth. Alright. What I have been hearing about the 1980s, that the impression that narrative conveys is not only a steep stretching of the truth of what transpired, but a misleading of the young people in particular, of which concern to me, and therefore I am compelled to act. Eddie Seaga total political life did not begin and end with the period of the 1980s. While that period is the focus of this article, overall, there are some positives to Seaga's political life, which have been ample recorded in many places, including work such as production of books by him. Considered by some as bright, Siaga has played no small role in the institutional building of this nation, and I admire him for not being a politician who sought to feather his politicalness financially as far as it appears. All right, cool. Some people would trust him to keep their dollar, but he also was far from being a saint, and that side of his personality, political activities and utterances continued to make some people feel uncomfortable, and his tit-for-tat policy made others cringe. To now hear all the nonsense being peddled about the period in the 1980s just won't cut it. I will not allow the purveyors of rubbish to have a field day in uninterrupted and taking more than a cruel advantage of those who have forgotten, those who were too young to recall, and those who were born after this period. This article is dedicated to them, especially as my contribution to their clarity relative to our political history in particular. It's not intended to be an anti-Siaga article, but historical facts about the specific time in our political journey as a nation. This period, within the context of the history of the international economy, was called the second Gilded Period. The first Gilded Period was known as the Great Depression of 1929, and the second Gilded manifested itself in the form of an international debt crisis with a universal political response of structural adjustment in the form of reconfiguring of the economic of less development and underdeveloped economies, particularly the response of the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund and the Paris Club was debt scheduling, restructuring and debt forgiveness. The finance minister of Mexico in 1982 announced that Mexico would unilaterally reschedule its debt in the first flagging of the enormity of the crisis. The two oil prices shocks of the previous decade, coupled with the program economic destabilization, which incorporated the flight of capital and the massive closure of business and loss of jobs, created monumental damages of the tune of some 30% loss of the GDP and of the Jamaican economy. By 1976, the BOJ ran out of reserves, reflecting a negative balance, which lasted for the next 20 years, ending in 1996. What happened in 1996? PJ Patterson PF did it at the IMF. Remember, good ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, moving on. This is the hand that Siaga was dealt, which he enthusiastically shuffled the deck. As a paramount local political agent of the process of destabilization, any claim thereof that the 1980s was a period of progress is one of aggravated dishonesty. So the 1980s, when Siaga was ruling, there was no, ladies and gentlemen, period of progress. It was no period of progress. It was a period of failure. Externally, there were serious tensions in the world. These included the Iranian Revolution in 1979, the Iran War of the 1980 to 88, the continuing conflict and tension associated with Arab-Israel war in the previous decade, which precipitated contortions and distortions and the reconfiguration on and off the structure of the Jamaican economy in the 1980s. Siaga lost control and became more of a reactive functionary rather than a proactive transformational leader. He responded to the challenges of the crisis with abrasiveness, insults, and threats against the Jamaican people. In the 1980s, Siaga came to power. The Jamaica debt to GDP was 63%. The debt ballooned to 276 of GDP in 1989, which represents an increase of 315.8% in Jamaica's indebtedness over a 9-year period of the JLP administration. Over a 9-year period of the JLP administration, 262% of debt to GDP. This is the highest the debt to GDP has ever been in the history of the country, ladies and gentlemen. Wanna go look it up. Any single digit growth in the economy is the face of growth in debt was of no particular significance or consequence. It must be noted that the source of the minimal growth over the period was primarily due to a reduction in oil prices in the 1980s and beyond. Contrary to popular belief, this was not due to any successful investment projects nor any new investment apart of sweatshops in garment industries. David Rockefeller, who came to turn Jamaica into the Singapore of the Caribbean, packed up his bag and left Jamaica in less than 5 months, of which his arrival following several disagreements with Siaga. Most ironically, the flight of capital continued under Siaga, with ExxonMobil, the principal oil refinery, pulling out of Jamaica. The gas station lines were long and uncomfortable as people who had urgent business to attend to were locked in gas line for hours. Life in Jamaica began to make no sense. Migration and brain drain gained momentum. The major bauxite companies followed closely behind Exxon, leaving Jamaica. From 1980 to 1983, the JLP under Siaga failed a minimum of 4 IMF tests. Failed a minimum of 4 IMF tests. Failed a minimum of 4 IMF tests, and the pressure of a rapidly deteriorating economy hit Siaga. He seized on a distraction of the political crisis in Grenada and called a snap election in 1983. PMP did not contest, so the JLP had all 60 seats in Parliament and 21 in the Senate. With no opposition in the Parliament, Siaga began to indiscriminately wield his axe. This included tax acts as well as his axing of many government departments, resulting in widespread closure and thousands of redundancies. 18,000 public sector workers lost their jobs. Jamaica, let me tell you something. I don't know, ramp with me. You hear me say? In 1983, Siaga had 60 seats and 21 in the Senate. No other leader had so much power. No other leader had so much power. You go look up this article for yourself if you don't like. Zine, look it up if you don't like. Jamaica debunking the myth about the 1980s under Edward Siaga. You go read for yourself. Although I have it on my channel, see it there? This will shock some, debunking the myths about the 1980s under Siaga. I said the video 1 month ago I posted, see it there? People don't like read. All when I read for them. All when I read for them, then don't like read. See it there? Right there, so. Right there, so Jamaica, but we'll go back to the article. I want you to take a look at this. Siaga had total control of the government. You know what I say? Total control of the government. What does it say here? In 1983, you know, Siaga win the election, you know. 1983, and him get 60 seats and 21 in the Senate. What does it say here? Let's go back to the top. The debt to GDP under Edward Siaga having total control ballooned from 63% to 262%. Want to look on the good, see there? Debt to GDP was 63%. The debt ballooned to 262% of GDP in 1989. Let's scroll down. When did Siaga get power and get 60 seats? When did he get power and get 60 seats, ladies and gentlemen? 1983. See that? A snap election was called in 1983. The PMP did not contest, and so the JLP won all 60 seats at the time in the parliament. He had no opposition, but yet still, with no opposition, Edward Siaga, the JLP, took our debt to GDP ratio, where Andrew HOLNESS boasts about in this video, talking about them is what? Fiscal prudence and fiscal discipline. The devil is a liar.
15-year-old fiscal discipline. PNP, you are not the father.
PNP is the father. JLP, you are not the father. 1989 proved that. You got it from 63% to 262%. Me no want nobody ramp with me. Me say me no want nobody ramp with me. As a matter of fact, me do my TikTok video really quick. Because me not ramp with Andrew tonight. Me not ramp with Andrew tonight. You see. Me a second, people. Tired of Andrew, man. You need to stop it. You need to stop it. You need to go away. You need to go away. I'll tell her that. Come about him, I come talk about Ray. Ladies and gentlemen, big up on yourself, TikTok. May I take you to one political clinic right now. Listen to Andrew.
When it comes to 15...
Hold on there.
When it comes to 15-year-old fiscal... When it comes to 15-year-old fiscal discipline, PNP, you are not the father.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take it to Exhibit A. This article was written by a politician. That this is a labor right. Jamaica debunking the myths about the 1980s under Edward Seaga. Now, two things you need to pay attention to. You see right here, sir? In the 1980s, when Edward Seaga came to power, the Jamaica debt to GDP was 63%. Isn't that what we're trying to get back to right now? So we can have growth in the economy? Mark that down. The debt ballooned to 262% of GDP in the 1989, which represents an increase of 315.8% in Jamaica's indebtedness over the 9-year period of the JLP Seaga administration. Jamaica, remember say 1989 that, you know, market date, you know. All right. Pay attention to the same article right here, so ladies and gentlemen. Pay close attention. It says that Seaga, he seized on a distraction of the political crisis in Grenada, right here, so, called a snap election in 1983. Last time I checked, 1983 is before 1989. The PNP did not contest, so the JLP had all 60 seats in Parliament and 21 in the Senate. So Seaga had total control in 1983 with 60 seats in the Parliament, no opposition, and 21 seats in the Senate, ladies and gentlemen. Now, with that power, this is what he did. He took the debt to GDP that PNP gave him, right, from 63%, where we are trying to get back to 262% in 1989. That is 5 years after 1983. It is a 9-year period for who? The JLP Seaga administration. This man had total control, and he increased the debt to GDP to 315.8%. This is the highest the debt to GDP has ever been in the history of Jamaica. So me no want a lab rat come over here so we are giving no facts and evidence. Go away, Andrew Holness is a liar. I want afraid for say that to lie. You know, have no shame. You come in a parliament after Julian Robinson destroy in a parliament and I come put up video on your blouse and skirt TikTok page and I come lie to the people in Boa. Watch, listen to him. Listen to him.
When it comes to 15-year-old fiscal discipline, PNP, you are not the father.
See there? One day ago, Andrew Holness put this up on his page. All lied.
Your name call, but it is another Golding that is the father.
So Andrew Holness want to suggest, ladies and gentlemen, that Bruce Golding, you know, out of all of the Golding them, in could have called, is the father for fiscal discipline and fiscal prudence. Well, let me show you something. Make me show you something. Where is it? This is the IMF one. No, that's not it. Go find it. Go find it. Yeah, a whole heap of armed group there, so still you know that I have problem, you know. Close that one now. Which one is? IMF no. IMF no. Boom. Right there, so. So ladies and gentlemen, when you look on the screen, this is the IMF official website. It says IMF lending case study for Jamaica. What does it say here, ladies and gentlemen? Since Andrew Holness talk about Bruce Golding as the father. After a debt exchange in 2010 and yet another IMF support program that went off track in 2011, which Prime Minister, who was the Prime Minister in 2011? Let's go. Google. So you think me a ramp, you don't know, damn out of face damn bright. Who was the Prime Minister in 2011? So TikTok, see it there? 2011, Jamaica had 2 Prime Ministers due to leadership transition. Bruce Golding served until his resignation in October 2011. Andrew Holness was sworn in on October 24, 2011 to become the youngest Prime Minister in the country's history. So ladies and gentlemen, when you go back to the article for the IMF, Andrew Holness' government was the one that was in power at the time. They are the ones that the IMF is talking about. Zine, and we're going to go back to it. Them need to stop it and stop telling people lies and tell the people the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Let me go back to it. See there? In 2011, what happened in 2011? The IMF support program went off track. The country was on the verge of what? Economic meltdown with no access to the international capital market. Jamaica once again turned to the IMF in when? Spring of 2013. Let's go and see who was the Prime Minister in 2013. The Prime Minister of Jamaica in 2013 was Portia Lucretia Simpson Miller. Ladies and gentlemen, the PNP took over, went on their knees, and the IMF gave Jamaica another chance. And the PNP was the one that helped us to come back on our feet from what the JLP did in 2010. Let's go back to this article again. Once again, the Jamaica turned to who? The IMF. After we were locked out, we didn't have what? There was an economic meltdown with no access to the international capital market. See it right there, sir? Look on the screen. Me a teach you today. You don't come to me with the foolishness of Andrew Holness attack and I tell we lie on TV. Me a burn him out of own business. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. What does this say? It goes on to say that with its preceding weak track record, right? It preceding, that was before Andrew Holness and Golden. You see him, Golden and Andrew Holness a chat about us. So, he not have no shame. Listen to him. Listen to
The
him.
name call, but it is another Golding that is the father.
That is a lie. That is a bold-faced lie, Jamaica. May I tell her that right now, on TikTok, no tag me for no feel like I don't business. Evidence me I bring right so. That is a damn lie. With its preceding what? Weak track record of reform, significant budget financing from international and developing partners was less forthcoming. Jamaica needed a second debt exchange and a primary surplus of what? 7.5% of GDP to help stabilize the economy and address a long-standing structural challenge. This is why the Jamaica government had to go to the NHT temporarily to get this surplus of 7.5% GDP so they could pass the IMF test. And Andrew Holness come now and abuse the NHT afterwards. The public said enough is enough. The Economic Program Oversight Committee was formed so that stakeholders from the private sector unions, government and academia, and the media could come together to hold the government accountable for its reform commitments and fiscal discipline under the reform program. With that, as I described by Finance Minister Nigel Clark, what began as the IMF program became Jamaica's program for IMF support. So the People's National Party did this, and I'm going to take it further. Let's go to the video. Let's go to the video. See it there?
Long time where in the first year of program implementation, key reforms that had been pending for a long time were in the
So this is Miss Christine Lagarde, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to this.
Responded to concerns about the slide in the value of the Jamaican dollar.
Well, I think you have to look back to where we were a year ago, where growth was collapsing, employment was going up, where reserves were running out, and where Jamaica was bleeding its reserves in order to support a currency that was clearly overvalued.
Jamaica, you hear that? Growth was collapsing, unemployment was increasing rapidly, and the reserves were depleting to zero. That's what the Jamaica Labour Party left us. This is Miss Lagarde. This was June, see there? June 27th, 2014. The PMP under Miss Portia Simpson Miller came and did the dirty work to get back Jamaica on track. After this video, I don't want to hear nothing from nobody. Only just play that video and show them. Destroy all lies from Andrew Holness.
So as a result of that, and to give all levers to the Jamaican authorities, and I'm talking here about the Finance Minister and the Governor of Central Bank, it was necessary to determine a devaluation of the currency so that it could be at the right level of appreciation. It was clearly overappreciated.
Let me see.
Devaluation. I don't like to use the word build up. That will not be devaluation for a level on the basis of production factors, on the basis of inflation differential, on the basis of course it is up to the Jamaicans,
which have provided value.
The collection of taxes so that there is no evasion and there is collection, including reforms that are approved in March 2014. But there are other major reforms that are on the must-do list.
Listen to this.
Including improving the collection of taxes so that there is no evasion.
All right.
And there is collection.
Don't talk.
Modernizing.
Ladies and gentlemen, Big up on yourself, TikTok. I take you to one political clinic right now. Listen to Andrew.
When it comes to 15-year-old fiscal discipline, DNP, you are not.
Ladies and gentlemen, big up on yourself, TikTok. I take you to one political clinic right now. Listen to Andrew.
When it comes to 15-year-old fiscal discipline, DNP, you are not the father.
Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take it to Exhibit A. This article was written by a politician. This is a labor right. Jamaica debunking the myths about the 1980s under Edward Seaga. Now, two things you need to pay attention to. You see right here, sir? In the 1980s, when Edward Seaga came to power, the Jamaica debt to GDP was 63%. Isn't that what we're trying to get back to right now? So we can have growth in the economy? Mark that down. The debt ballooned to 262% of GDP in the 1989, which represents an increase of 315.8% in Jamaica's indebtedness over the 9-year period of the JLP Seaga administration. Jamaica, members in 1989 that market date. Pay attention to the same article right here, so ladies and gentlemen. Pay close attention. It says that Seaga, he seized on a distraction of the political crisis in Grenada, right here, so, called a snap election in 1983. Last time I checked, 1983 is before 1989. The PMP did not contest, so the JLP had all 60 seats in Parliament and 21 in the Senate. So Seaga had total control in 1983 with 60 seats in the Parliament, no opposition, and 21 seats in the Senate, ladies and gentlemen. Now, with that power, this is what he did. He took the debt to GDP that PMP gave him, right, from 63%, what he tried to get back to 262% in 1989. That is 5 years after 1983. It is a 9-year period for who? The JLP Seaga administration. This man had total control and he increased the debt to GDP to 315.8%. This is the highest the debt to GDP has ever been in the history of Jamaica. So I don't want to lap back come over here, so we are giving no facts and evidence. Go away, Andrew Holness is a liar. I want to afraid to say that you lie. You don't have no shame. You're coming out. Ladies and gentlemen, big up on yourself, TikTok. I take you to one political clinic right now. Listen to Andrew.
When it comes to 15-year-old fiscal discipline.
Right now, Jamaica. And that's what I do with Andrew. I'm too lie, man. You need to go away. You need to go away. Tired of him. See? I'll make sure I copy the article here. Copy this. Put it over here, so. Because it's unnecessary, you know. Put this beside it. I've got to do one video. An official video. But one time. And post it. Too lie, man. Must go away. You understand? Yeah, we need that video to with Miss Lagarde. That's a fact. Let me go to this now. Zane? Let me go to this now, Jamaica.
High amid a panel of experts to weigh in on government's money plans for the next fiscal year. And as government lays the foundation for investment-led growth, world's head of
to pay taxes or make
finance.
Honoring our commitments and passing the test, while Jamaican businesses and individuals are benefiting from the lowest interest rates in decades. It is because we are honoring our commitments and passing the test while Jamaican home buyers are getting the benefit of single-digit mortgage rates, with lending rates trending even lower to make housing available to the Jamaican people.
Thanks for joining us for the special JAS presentation looking at the 2015-2016 budget. I'm Ian Boyd. And with me to discuss issues related to the Minister's presentation as well as related issues, we have in our studios the CEO of the private sector organization of Jamaica, Mr. Dennis Chung, and well-known financial analyst and financial journalist, Ralston Hyland. First, Dennis, your overall reaction to the presentation.
The presentation now, I think it was a good presentation. Nothing new revealed. I think it just went over some of the issues that need to be clarified.
But you clarified a number of issues.
Yes. And I think that's important. Coming at the end of a budget debate, you don't want any questions or any doubts to be left hanging. So it's important to clarify the issues that arise. So I mean, we'd expect that this would come out of the debate.
The main things that jumped out at you, Ralston, and which are salient for discussion in your view?
Well, as a matter of clarity, the minister again reiterated that the budget laid the foundation for accelerated economic growth. It met our commitments to our international partners to pay down the debt and the people of Jamaica to provide basic social services while accelerating economic growth. It is fundamental that we stick to this timetable. The minister reinforced the need to pay down the debt because the trajectory we're on is to reduce the debt to GDP ratio from 145% in 2012 to 96% by 2020 until the internationally accepted.
Yeah, where man say a while ago, 145% in 2012. Listen again.
Pay down the debt because the trajectory we're on is to reduce the debt to GDP ratio from 145% in 2012 to 96% by 2020 until the internationally accepted norm of 60% by 2025. This is
60% is the norm, you know. When you see the video I'm showing, the article I'm showing a while ago, the People's National Party, hold on there, gave Edward Siaga the debt to GDP at 63%. You hear what the man say? 60% is accepted. So he got the debt to GDP in a good space. Hold on there, Jamaica, let me find about the article there. Oh, where there? No man, that should I use it for find. Oh, that should I use it for find. Hold on. How I going? Look like me, yeah, me know what I going. You know, some put it over here, so. See it there? Yeah, man, let me just go for the article here. Copy this and put it right there. So the article I need for the right there, so we can just roll out, look more and just do a video, official video, and show the thing easier for people. See there? See there, Jamaica? In 1980, when Siaga came into power, Jamaica's debt to GDP ratio was 63%. See it there, Jamaica? 63%. So him get it good, and he bring it to what? 262% of GDP. Ballooned. That means say swell. Incredible. They couldn't believe it. See there? Ballooned. Alright, let's continue. Full context we are dealing with it now. Because we're not play around here. Zane. Alright. What else me there now? You'd have it there. Over here, sir.
It's extremely important. It's not an academic exercise. And we want our people to understand if you owe too much money, then you'll have to be transferring the resources to servicing that debt. So you have very little resources if you bring it down to a household to fix the house, to expand the house, to buy basic food and services, as well as to provide education for your children. A nation is no different. So we need to pay down the debt so we can concentrate more resources on improving the country's social and economic infrastructure, educate our people, and to become more competitive in the international economy. So the budget lays the foundation for that. You also made a point about being accurate despite the fact that we're politicking. The orderly dissemination of accurate information is of paramount importance to the smooth functioning of a market. Now, the point being made, and I have interest here, the National Insurance Fund remains viable. The net assets of the National Insurance Fund is $71.3 billion. If you look at all the NIS numbers, we are beating inflation. And the fact of the matter is an actual review has already been done, and those matters are under consideration. There are certain institutions which we must not try to politicize. So I'm working with the minister on that.
Yeah. And I think the ministers advanced this whole discussion, Ralston and Dennis, of the passing of the IMF test, the rigorous pursuit of the economic reform program, and the people's test and the growth test. I think that he made the point very forcefully that the things that are being done are laying the foundation for and are creating the conditions for the growth and for the social development of people.
Most certainly, one of the things that we have been seeing in recent times because of the competitive politics, people are positing the view that passing the IMF test is different from the passing the people's test. There is no dichotomy or no difference for the simple man between passing IMF test and people's test. What we want our people to understand is that we have a major debt problem and IMF is the lender of last resort. When nobody else is willing to lend you, the IMF will lend you. When you're getting money from the IMF, you'll also be able to get money from the World Bank, the Inter-American Development Bank, the European Union, the private capital markets look to the IMF for signals. So if you don't pass the IMF test, then you don't get any money from these institutions. So it means it affects your education program, your road building program, your social security program, your investment program. So passing the IMF test is integral to getting money from these institutions, as well as to improve investor confidence. And it is investor confidence which drives investments, and it is investments which drives jobs and growth. So passing the IMF test lays the foundation for accelerated economic growth and social development.
Dennis.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you see why? Do you see why in 2010 Jamaica was on economic meltdown? See there? See there? Not my word. This is on the IMF website. See there? See there, Jamaica? After debt exchange in 2010, yet another IMF-supported program that went off track, the country was on the verge of economic meltdown with no access to the international capital market. Every single thing he mentioned a while ago in this video is the international capital market. You have to pass the IMF test to access the market. So when Andrew Holness run off in mouth and I thought about saying now pass the people test, he was a big hypocrite because his government at the time was the reason why the People's National Party was in the predicament that they were in. And you the look lame, uneducated, unstudied, unlearned Jamaican people, because on a die-hearted, not looking at the facts, on go voting this man 3 times or 2 times. I don't even know. I not even want to say on the voting mean. You allow this man to take 3 elections. And in party, allowed, make them pay for vote for them, make them pay for no vote for PMP. Right? Do all of these things because you're not uneducated. I want you to listen again to what Ralston is saying in regards to passing the IMF test.
For the simple man between passing IMF test and people's test, what we want our people to understand is that we have a major debt problem and IMF is the lender of last resort. When nobody else...
The IMF is the lender of last resort. When nobody else lends you, the IMF lends you. I want to put it into perspective that the P.J. Patterson paid off the IMF in 1996. I just want to throw that out there. Mighty God.
Is willing to lend you, the IMF will lend you. When you're getting money from the IMF, you'll also be able to get money from the World Bank, the Inter-American Development Bank, the European Union, the private capital markets look to the IMF for signals. So if you don't pass the IMF test, then you don't get any money from these institutions. So it means it affects your education program, your road building program, your social security program, your investment program. So passing the IMF test is integral to getting money from these institutions, as well as to improve investor confidence. And it is investor confidence which drives investments, and it is investments which drives jobs and growth. So passing the IMF test lays the foundation for accelerated economic growth and social development.
Dennis, your take and the private sector's take on this issue. Growth people's tests versus IMF tests.
Well, I think that I'd agree with Ralston. And I speak more as an accountant. I mean, the fact that...
Look who agree with Ralston Iman. Look who agree with Ralston Iman at this point. Making the try for disagree and see what happened to him. He has lost credibility in recent times, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, man. Dennis Chung.
Is that you cannot have any sustainable social welfare without being financially secure.
Yes.
And therefore, the fiscal balancing is necessary, right? It is not sufficient. It is not sufficient for sustainable economic development, but it has to be what lays the foundation for building on that growth. I know it's ironic. I was thinking about when Ralston was talking, that we're here talking about the necessity of the IMF, because and the fact that it's a lender of last resort, and that we had to go to them in 2010, because I remember in 2009, Ralston, we were saying we need to go to the IMF,
yes,
and we were saying, everybody was
among
saying
the earliest
no,
voices.
right, yeah.
Yes.
But it's necessary, and I don't think that we have.
So Dennis Chung was telling them that they need to go to the IMF. Mighty God, Jamaica, when I hear this, I buck up in this, you know. God is good. God is good.
Said before, we don't have any other choices. What we need to understand about the reality that Jamaica faces is that this is the first time in over 40 years that we're really making any substantial move to correct the problem.
This is a special JIS presentation looking at the 2015-2016 budget. We're also looking more specifically at the closing presentation by the Minister of Finance and Planning, Dr. the Honorable Peter Fitz. We take a break, but we'll be right back. It is Tuesday at I am 2015-2016 budget. We have with us the CEO of the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, Mr. Dennis Chung, and the preeminent financial journalist, Ralston Hyman. I am Ian Boyne. So Dennis, you were making the point at the break. You might want to.
Yeah. What I was saying, Ian, is that what we're seeing now, which is positive, is that we're actually now stabilizing the macro environment with a reduced debt to GDP ratio. In previous years, what we've done is, and this from the 70s coming up, what we've done is stabilize the macro with an increased debt to GDP ratio. And that's the difference. And the fundamental difference, I think, is because of we've made the legislative and other fiscal changes that has allowed us the platform to do that. So when you see the ratios moving in the right direction, the debt to GDP, and you're still achieving that macroeconomic stability and a low inflation rate, which is key, then that for me.
But that raises a question which has come up in the debate, and that is that while the program is premised on the reduction of the debt to GDP, that the overall gross debt in terms of money value is actually increasing.
The fact of the matter is that even as an individual, the more income you earn is the more debt you can afford.
You can take on.
You understand?
Yeah.
In terms of sustainability, what's important is the relationship of debt to income.
Yes.
That is
and
important.
If your GDP is growing.
So if your GDP is growing, it means that you can afford to take on more debt.
Yes.
And even within a company, as a company grows, you can afford to take on more debt in an absolute manner. What's important is your debt to equity ratio in a company, which is similar to your debt to GDP ratio.
Yes. Your reaction to
Yeah, that's a fundamental point, because some people are behaving as if Jamaica defies international economic norms. GDP and debt is measured internationally as a ratio.
Yes.
Well, I think that we want the people of Jamaica to understand the problem that international economic policymakers face. When we talk about those, we're talking about Janet Yellen at the Federal Reserve, Mario Draghi at the ECB, Mr. Kuroda at the Bank of Japan, Zhu Chuan at the People's Bank of China, is what we call deflation and disinflation.
Yes.
In other words, prices are growing slower than they used to before, and in some cases, prices are falling below zero.
Right.
So we have an international economy that is faced with low interest rates and low inflation.
Yes.
Jamaica is a member of that international community, so it has spillover effects on the Jamaican economy. So if international fuel prices are falling and prices are falling internationally, then it will spill over to the Jamaican economy. So it's not rocket science that the rate of inflation is falling in Jamaica. When the rate of inflation falls, it means that people can buy more. So when we say the rate of inflation is 3.4%, it means that a dollar will give you $96.70 worth of goods and services, which is good for the housewife, which is good for the man on the street. That's all it is.
And which acts as a stimulus too.
As a stimulus to the economy.
Yes.
Yeah, so let us tell our people the truth and not fool them up. Yes, more purchasing power. Yeah. We want everybody to understand how the economy works so that they can make more informed decisions.
To pick up on what Rossan said, I mean, the fact that we're in an international community, I mean, the absolute level of inflation is important, right? But more important is the relative level of inflation between countries. That I think is the key, because that's what determines your currency value and your interest rates. Right, because interest rates is the price of money. So the fact that we see that inflation is low and rates are marginally coming down, it means that relative to other countries, we're doing well, because it means that we're able to maintain a stable rate of exchange, bring interest rates marginally down, and have a low rate of interest, which is a spillover. One other issue, though, that I think that this year is going to be a better year from a growth point of view, because over the past, what we've seen is over the past year or two.
Jamaica, this is the PMP 2015, this is the matter about tonight. I want you guys to understand the context. I really, see, this is March 29, 2015. They are talking about the performance of Portia Lucretia Simpson Miller's government. She rescued Jamaica from economic what do you call it? What they say? Extinction? Yes. She rescued Jamaica, her and her government rescued Jamaica from economic extinction. You know, when they make something extinct, that means it's no more. Like the dinosaur them. Yeah, man, them used to be around. Yeah, man, that's what our economy was going to be. Mama P and her administration rescued us from that. Mr. Rastanheiman already outlined the importance of the relationship with the IMF, especially in these situations where we were on an economic meltdown, on the verge of a meltdown. The last resort was the IMF, and the IMF was not dealing with us until Portia Lucretia Simpson Miller went on her knees on behalf of this country. I want you guys to understand the gravity of where we were. And we're not going to stop beat this drum, you know. We're not going to allow Andrew Jones to come out here and lie to the people, because obviously next week, Thursday, that's exactly what he comes to do. Because here he is, lying to the people.
If we're going to have a history lesson, we must just do it honestly.
Opposition spokesman on finance in their presentation attempted to whitewash their record and suggested that analysis of the country's economic performance does not go back far enough to do justice to their contribution. I do not believe they can complain if we start at independence. We cannot lose the battle for the minds of the people of Jamaica. Otherwise, we are at risk of having the people who made the mistakes of the past repeat them.
Here's a mistake of the past that we should not allow the JLP to repeat. Having full power, all 60 seats, getting the country at 63% of GDP and ballooning it to 262% of GDP in 1989. Let's continue.
Let's start with inflation. The table now being displayed shows that the average annual inflation under my administration has been 5.5%, the lowest under any administration since 1972. This is within the inflation target of 4 to 6%, despite the effect of global inflation resulting from the post-COVID supply chain shocks and geopolitical conflicts. Without the post-COVID inflation spike, we could safely...
I'm so sick of this dude, bro. I mean, honestly, I'm so sick of this dude. Look at them lose that game, man. Hold on, what? Yeah, them lose that game, man. Yeah, they lost this game. They definitely lost that game. Anyway, I'm so sick of this dude. Let me go to Team PNP. I am so sick of the lies coming from HOLNESS now. You have no idea. I am disgusted at this man. I am so disgusted at this dude, bro. Yo, the man is the actual worst ever. Let me see if they put up the Damien Crawford totally debunked that chart in Parliament. Let me see if we can find it. Let me go to them Facebook page. Yeah, man. Damien Crawford totally debunked it. If I can't find it on them Facebook page, I will go to let's see, videos, reels. Alright, reels. Let me go scroll down to the reels them. It's gonna be way down, so I have to scroll down. It's gonna be way down. Way down. Last year budget. Maybe I should go to YouTube. But then I still have to go scroll way down anyway, so the better I go here so we can get the snippet of it. You understand? We go to the Damien Crawford was in Parliament destroying this foolishness that this man was talking in it, and they tried to stop him as well because they just like to lie and not get challenged. Disgraceful. You understand? That's what they're about, you know. They like to lie and not get challenged on their lie. Well, forget about it. You know, like and share this video, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to the people that are actually here right now. Let me scroll down and find this thing here. Tired of them, man. Tired of them. Too much of them now. It was before the campaign and everything. This was in March of last year, Damien Crawford. So, you know, we have to scroll up. We have to, them or something here. You can clearly see this was the what you call it? When they have the protests. Yeah, man. So before this. Yeah, it was before this. May I get warmer still? I get warmer. I was before that as well. Alright. Oh, wait. What is this? Oh, this is a different something.
Months and possibly even years without income. That court is what the lawyers are there for. The adoption.
The following is a release from the people.
Oh, wait.
Mr. Speaker, before we go into what we believe is the crux of the matter, there are some needs to correct some misstatements that have been made in this house. And I'll get to that. And previously in other houses and in the public. The first, unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, is somehow the concoction, Mr. President, is the concoction that Portmore is the vision of Edward Seaga.
All right, so this is one of them.
Let's clear that up.
Not one of them.
The following is a release from the people.
It was that same speech.
We will ensure.
It was that same speech. He debunked a lot of stuff in that speech. When he was wearing this.
Mr. Speaker, but
so I guess I'll have to go. I'll have to go to YouTube because they not have it clipped up over there. So I have to go to YouTube. PBC, Jamaica. I forgot to YouTube. So constituency, this is what? After HOLNESS 5-hour budget presentation. What is this? That's 11 months ago. Before that, Senate Committee, Standing Finance Committee, budget. See 5 hour one, alright. It was after this. Damon Crawford after this. This is the Senate. I guess it's this one. March 28th. So let me go over here so and try to find it. Oh, here we go. Oh my God. Listen to me. Jamaica, it couldn't be more perfect. It couldn't be more perfect.
Completion of Greater Portmore with over 10,000 homes. And that was in 1995 alone. 58,000 families received land titles under what they are trying to malign, the Operation Pride program. Health systems strengthened. National Health Fund was established by the levels of inflation. Therefore, a large proportion of our society whose income is directed mainly.
Bingo.
It was 2.9%.
Bingo.
Inflation.
Bingo.
1989 to September 2007. This is the exact presentation from Mr. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, Dr. Andrew Holness. If you look at the 89 to 2007, 18 and a half years that the PMP was in power, the average annual inflation was 18.5%. In the United States, for which he was seeking to make heavy weather, it was 2.9%. That's almost 6.3 times what existed in the United States. But he failed to have done sufficient analysis to recognize that in September 2007 to December 2011, which was the JLP, they were at 12.3% in relative to the United States, 1.5%. That's 8.2 times what was in the United States. So therefore, if it is that relativity was supposed to be used, the JLP in 2007 to 2011 was 8.2 times inflation in the United States. However, the PMP was 6 times inflation in the United States.
Basically, based off the numbers, the PMP did better. You know why I went to this Jamaica? Because Andrew did this. This is it. See? This is what he put up on his page a day ago. So I am debunking this foolishness that he put up. This was the debunking of it. Listen, yo, stop playing with me, bro. Yo, I don't want y'all to play with me. Put some respect on my name. Put some respect on my name. When I'm on my game, it's not pretty for no labor right. Period. I need y'all to put one ball up on the app. Put some respect on my name. Put some respect on my video them. Drop a like, what I do. Super chat, cash app, everything. Put some respect on my channel, bro. We're out here burning the midnight island, dropping we have 38 people watching, and you guys out here not hitting the like button. Yo, you can't be saying on a drop asleep because the way how me I deal with this thing surgical. Come like said, I just wake up this morning and we just I beat it, picture what's up. I just beat it till I'm on my bed while people are asleep. Put some respect on my channel, bro. What y'all doing to your boy, man? Literally, me find the source of the rebuttal of the foolishness that Andrew did, because me remember say then when I try to stop this man from putting out this information. Now, who that sweet girl in her background? Now, who that? The intelligent. Look, who's that? The beautiful, the forceful. Who is that?
For the knowledge of our students, I'd like them to know that even that was a false analysis. There was no real basis to utilize the United States in comparison with Jamaica. An appropriate comparison would have been other Caribbean islands, because the United States don't have the same realities that we face.
That's fair.
But there's even more information in the slides that the Prime Minister presented. In the slides that the Prime Minister presented, it proved that he had the worst performance since he got the baton. Indeed, in 2002, 2007, the inflation was 18.5% on average. The Bruce Golding government received the baton and reduced it by 6.2 percentage points and carried it down to 12.3%. The Porter-Simpson
Average inflation rate, the last 4 terms. Look at it. See the Jamaica?
And carried it down to 12.3%. The Porter-Simpson Miller government got it and removed and reduced it by 6 percentage points.
So JLP took it from 18 to 12.3 and PMP took it and carried down to 6. Just remember that, you know. 18, 12. 12 from 18 is 6, this is 6.2 down. And this is 6 down. And this is, okay, less than 1% down.
Carried down to 6.3%. Andrew Holness got it and carried down to 5.5, a reduction of less than 1%.
Thank you.
So he's making a big deal about look how fast when it's just that he got a good batter. Prime Minister Bruce Golding reduced it by 6 percentage points. Prime Minister Porter-Simpson reduced it by a further 6 percentage points. Yet they tried to convince us that the best Prime Minister we have ever seen reduced it by less than 1 percentage points.
This is how you debunk the lies of the Andrew Holness-led administration, where the economy is concerned. Brutally destroying all the narratives.
I had to ensure that a picture like this exists, but Holness has done the least. That's a KC man winning that race so beautifully, as we will later today. And Calabar is already at 4th or 5th or something like that. I'm afraid they're way around the corner. But I think they're coming behind even Edith Alton today. Edith Alton will beat them. So with the baton, he has done the least. He has also sought to do misleading historical comparison. Prime Minister attempted to vilify the PMP by highlighting average inflation from 1989 to 2007. He, however, fails to highlight the global economic context, including oil price shocks, trade liberalization mandates, structural adjustment from the IMF. And they also fail to acknowledge that food inflation, which is the level of inflation affecting the majority of people,
yes,
is at 7.4%.
Wow.
This highlights a persistent and significant burden on household budgets, especially for low and middle income Jamaicans.
Of course.
Even while headline inflation remained within the BOJ target. Indeed, in our parliament, in this Senate, I have made 3 presentations asking for a targeting of food inflation as well as a targeting of overall inflation. Because there are times that the overall inflation disguises the suffering of the average individual who don't spend on the entire basket that exists.
When you hear that, Jamaica, that is super important what he just said a while ago. Overall inflation numbers mask the reality of the day-to-day of people feeding themselves or having the lack of ability to feed themselves properly because of the food inflation. What do you think is going to happen now under this taxation of the sugary drinks? Yo, man, listen, y'all better stop playing. Y'all better rise up, man. Yo.
Never indicated. What? So the food inflation is outside the target levels of inflation. Therefore, a large proportion of our society whose income is directed mainly to consumption of food is not being addressed by what is being posited by the inflation rate. The next level of lives that we're told would have been debt to GDP. This graph that I'm showing here is the exact same graph that was presented by Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. I'll give him the doctor until I hear further information. But Prime Minister Doctor, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Now let us look at the realities. The president, they seek to sell this argument that the JLP are the great debt managers and the PMP is loose with the management of debt. They seek to sell that argument. Well, we have not bought that argument. Let's go to the other slide.
Teach them, General.
Let's look at the debt to GDP. Every time you come and say you need to check, you don't check. Check and come back now. In 1962, the PMP handed the baton to the JLP. It's important for students to know that self-governance and independence are 2 different things. That before independence, we were governing ourselves and both the PMP and the JLP existed. The PMP handed over the baton in 1962 at 20% debt to GDP. 20%. At the end of the JLP's first term, Bustamante term, and I think you share that term, Sangster got a piece of it. So I'm not give it because it's not so good. It moved to double 40%. So therefore, these great debt managers' debt in that period moved from where they got it at 20% to 40%.
You hear that?
We then, if you wake up and think you know more economics, then we go back to sleep. And then, inflation moved, debt to GDP ratio moved to 80%. So Michael Manley got the baton in 1972 at 40%. And it moved up as well to 80%. However, the Seattle got the baton in 1980. The financial whiz. It moved to 212%.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was more than that. I guess he's talking about the average. Because when you go back to the article, 262% debt to GDP. Oh, he's talking about inflation. Sorry. He's absolutely right. Let's continue. Him right. The inflation him talk about.
That green line in the middle, the highest it has ever been.
All right.
Under the Jamaican Labour Party, under the quote-unquote financial whiz.
And the debt to GDP was also the highest it has ever been. This is inflation, you know. Let's go back. Let's look back at the chart. Let's look back at the chart in Jesus' name. Oh, this is the debt to GDP ratio? No, man. No, man. This is a 1990? My general. Oh, I understand. All right, so in 1983, the debt to GDP was 262. In 1990, at the end of his term, because context matters, the debt to GDP was 212. That's how he ended his term in 1990. See there? 1990. So right here, so around 1983, it was higher than that. It was actually higher than that, Jamaica. So I'm right about this. Let's continue.
At 20% debt to GDP.
Let's continue.
Excellent management. Oh, he said. They were speaking on behalf of Andrew. And when the IMF suspended disbursement to Jamaica our lifetime, because we're now one country. After that, by 100% reduction. But the JLP got it in 1980 and carried it from 80% to 212%. And then to 260% and giving over the button. If I was a champ, I would have nobody run. You know, sometimes I get by and say, yo, I'm not running, man. But because of our confidence and commitment, we ran as fast as we could. Now, a government that took the debt to GDP down by 100% reduction. If you get 100% reduction, that would be impact. 100% reduction would be zero. So therefore, it is a 50% reduction. The increase would be the 100, but the reduction is 50. I have to make sure the kids understand. Therefore, you take it down by 100 percentage points. From 212 to 113. That is the government they're trying to sell as being a bad government and debt and country.
Unbelievable.
After that, they got it and carried up again. They did not find their way in our lifetime. Because we now compare long-time Brazil to Argentina. It's no Brazil to no Argentina. This group of individuals here, I was present, you were present, most of us were present in 2011, you were here, yes. Most of them over there were here. They were in the shadows, at that time, it was our party, it was PMP at that time. They took it from 113 to, you were speaking at the draft, 134. So therefore, this argument of debt, mismanagement, and non-fiscal, the numbers don't show that.
Don't show it.
Unquote. In fiscal rules that he's claiming to be father, godfather, or grandfather.
Listen to this.
He suggested that we sold the country to the IMF.
What's up, Alethea?
Yes, you're a failure. Not taking the IMF test preceded. Ready again. If it is, I'm not giving that one. That one is exaggeration. Give me another one. Exaggeration. I'm not going to exaggeration. They're claiming paternity.
We have a name for it.
They're claiming paternity for Jamaica's fiscal turnaround. And they say that the period 2007 to 2011 is proof of that paternity. First of all, let us acknowledge that not even was style safe. Remember last year in this house, I come and say, I have the paternity and Andrew's not the father. The man take the style. They take the plans, they take the ideas and the style. And then over-promote the style and say that he's a good communicator. He raped man, he raped me. But let us look in divorce court, what happened in 2007 to 2011. The IMF suspended disbursement to Jamaica in 2011. The IMF refused to give them anything more. It says, during the JLP administration led by Bruce Golding, the IMF suspended disbursement. Let's go into details. February 2010, Jamaica entered a 27-month standby agreement with the IMF. What happened before February 2010? In 2007, the United States financial meltdown. Audley Shaw, the then Minister of Finance, 2008, said that Jamaica will benefit. Don't forget also that Andrew Holness was a senior member of that cabinet.
Member, good no
So
man.
while Audley Shaw was the one speaking, he was speaking on behalf of the entire Jamaica Labour Party
Yes,
cabinet.
yes.
It's like over here on the platform, my friend Senator Seabright said, Senator Crawford, I know him like to talk. Like I'm not talking business, it's like saying both like to run. Man in a running business. He said they're going to raise the tax, and if he said it, then that is the PNP. I can't listen to him. But he don't want to tell you that Minister Delroy Chuck said I'm going to legalize Obia. Is that what the JLP going to do? He go about how he said. They were speaking on behalf of Andrew. And when they ignored that financial crisis, and the negatives started to pile up, they went back to the IMF in 2010. By January 2011, less than a year, the program had gone off track. What were the reasons? Slippage in meeting fiscal targets.
Yes.
The one that we set and meet every time in 2011 to 2016.
That's right.
They're saying that we are less fiscally responsible when the evidence said we met all our fiscal targets than those who did not.
Make it make sense.
What can go so?
What can go so?
And then it says, inadequate progress on structural reforms. Not adequate.
Inadequate.
Inadequate. The opposite of adequate.
Yes.
So much so that a warning wasn't sufficient. But cease and desist from giving any money. As a result, the IMF halted disbursement. And guess what happened? And other partners such as the World Bank, the IDB, and the EU also withheld funding. So when IMF did it, it wasn't because PMP talked to them, because that's what they're going to read later. That PMP tell IMF not to give them. The World Bank says it's true. The EU says facts. The IDB said, what manner of a government is this? Who was over there? The current Prime Minister was over there. Later became Prime Minister on the back of Bruce Golding. What happened between 2011 when he promised bitter medicine and 2016 when he could say prosperity? The only thing that happened is the PMP turned around the fortunes of this country.
That is it.
Go further. And we have to look now at the period 1989 to 2006.
Let's go.
Several financial institutions, they call it the FinZac crisis.
Yes.
FinZac period. It's an improper name. It's the financial crisis. The answer was FinZac, not the question.
Not the question. Exactly.
I'm coming to it first.
Exactly.
The answer was FinZac.
Exactly.
But let's go. Several financial institutions. I can send them the script, Bill. All right, we soon reach to kill self. It's soon here. Several financial institutions, banks and insurance companies are what we call financial institutions. They collapsed due to poor regulatory oversight, high interest rate, and overexposure to bad loans. Out of that, the PMP government created FinSAC, Financial Sector Adjustment Company, to bail out and manage the crisis. What was the impact? Massive increase in public debt. Over 40% of GDP, just the result of the crisis. Inflationary pressures from fiscal strain and loss of confidence. So if I want to go back up to the graph Prime Minister Holness presented. That one. And I want us to pay attention to that graph. If you look at that is 1997. So we get it 1989. By the way, this is just after Gilbert, September 1980. So therefore, because this hurricane will never ever come to Jamaica, they are saying that it is the reason why them are failed and everything mash up. Gilbert that wrecked Jamaica. By 3 years time, 4 years, 1993, the debt to GDP ratio was 72%.
See there?
We took it from 212% to 72.
See there? 1993.
And this is the government that they say is not disciplined.
Funny. Very funny. The results show differently from what they say in the PMP is. He's killing them with facts. This was a clinical moment by Damian Crawford. Clinical. I'm gonna repost these videos. I'm gonna compile them in order to debunk every foolishness that Andrew Holness come with before in budget debate. I am going to put a budget debate for Andrew Holness' response to the budget debate of Julian Roberts. Him out of order, Jamaica. I want to share this video and like this video. Don't keep it to yourself, because we doing some work tonight. Best believe that.
If you look at the graph there from 1993,
all right, the speaker's time has been expired. Senator Morris.
Mr. President, the speaker's time for telling us about lies has expired, I believe, but I think he has made.
Hear this, Germs, telling us about lies. And a pure facts, the man a show up on something. Hear them or something, That's why I can't rate them in a turncoat,
Maybe 5 more minutes.
Can't rate them, brother.
May he be allowed to finish his interesting presentation, and I hope the students aren't listening too much.
No. All right, so the question is that the speaker's time be extended so that he can finish his presentation. Those in favor? Those against the ayes have it, Senator Crawford.
it has fallen to me to rebut 5 hours of lies. I need a little time. And I want to say to my students, I want you to listen. Don't necessarily believe everything you hear, but go and check it.
Research it yourself.
That is all we need.
There you go.
Listen to me, listen to them, and then Google. Because the truth is an enemy of that side.
Yes.
This graph is a graph presented by the Prime Minister himself. All I do was screenshot it on my computer and put it up. And they say it's revisionist. Then tell what if I drew the graph. How's that?
Amazing.
But come back, let me get back on track. Because can you imagine that, right? Go down. They get this on the graph because the graph proved them wrong.
Just because you are presenting graph.
Oh boy, come down. Yes. Massive increase in debt. So if you look back, I would have to go back to it, but if you look to see the climb in debt at the cost of resolving the financial crisis that happened at that time. Until now, I'm not rich, so I'm not, them time them barely attend, so it couldn't be me. Don't forget that many, wasn't there an MP that owned a bank? A JLP MP at the time, along with a Nigerian chief? Wasn't that PMP MP? Okay. Wasn't there MPs that got bailed out because their debt wasn't fair?
And there was a former prime minister who that alone.
All right.
And claimed, saying, forget it.
You forget it. Make we talk about it.
Siaga.
So the PMP's response.
Siaga get the loan of how much $1 million and forget them they get it. The Prime Minister, yo man, I tell you, JLP are real old down here, man. They are really the enemy that is formed against Jamaica progress.
To introduce strict financial regulations, created Financial Service Commission, the FSC, and Deposit Insurance Corporation, the JDIC. So therefore, the changes that were necessary were not done by the JLP, they were done by the People's National Bank. And they want to claim that the soft management systems, they had no role, when the vast majority of the years before they were in power. So how could they, why didn't they put the JDIC when they were in power of 1980, when the financial guru was in power? Okay, well, I'm glad you know. I'm glad you know. Some people come, I come into it. Hey, listen, he was reading but not understanding. What happened? Yeah. In don't know what we do now. Jamaica phased out protection for local industries. And hold on, Mr. President, beg you the class need a little settling down.
All right, but you know, Senator Crawford, yes, you allow yourself to get distracted by this side, and you allow yourself to get distracted by the other side. Now look here, the minister, yes, graciously asked for an extension of your time. Yes. Focus on your presentation and let us get through your presentation.
But the difference, right, Mr. President, is that this is the staff room and that is the classroom. The classroom cannot be disturbed.
All right, but there you go again. and those added comments is what extends it.
All right, and tell them to start them nice then.
All right.
What happened in the 1990s? Jamaica phased out protection for local industries. The people who the mail could tell you about. Was it a decision that they made without pressure? No. That was the IMF saying you cannot get a loan unless you abide to the Washington Consensus.
Yes.
The Washington Consensus.
Bingo. I remember when the young man, Mr. Oh my goodness, he's a professor now for the People's National, Andre Horton. Andre Horton was the first person I heard speak about the Washington Consensus. Yo, I've learned so much in the last 2 years about this country and where we were at in regards to, you know, just our economy at certain moments in time in our history. You understand? I've learned so much because the stuff that I've heard them talk about, I actually went and researched it. I'm like, wow, so this really happened. Like, that really happened for real? Wow. You understand? It's really, it's pretty amazing, guys. I have to tell you. It's pretty amazing. Let's continue.
The Washington Consensus was fueled by Thatcher and Reagan, who were the best of friends to the Jamaica Labour Party.
Mm-hmm.
We can give quotes of Reagan saying that he'll make sure they are successful. They then came and say, at this point, that the debt to GDP was 260%. If you want any help, you must liberalize farming. You must liberalize banking. You must make the foreign exchange be based on the market forces. You must make interest rate be based on the market forces. This wasn't a decision that the PMP said, we are going to do that. If we were to survive after what they did up to 1989, an IMF loan was necessary.
So you see, history repeats itself. In 1989, the JLP put the People's National Party in a corner economically with the IMF, where we had to go to them and face tough measures, ladies and gentlemen. That is literally what took place. No two ways about it. And then in recent times, a similar thing took place again. Yeah, a similar thing took place in recent times with the IMF in the 2011 to 2012, 2013 transition into Mama P administration. Again, tough measures that we had to face from the IMF. So the JLP is the weapon that is found against our economy and our economic growth. All points in history point to them destroying our economy, ladies and gentlemen. The PMP is not perfect, but when you look at their record, they do a way better job than the JLP in terms of balancing the lives of the people and really being disciplined with the economy. And that's just the truth of the matter.
And so the liberalization happened. Many of our industries died. The world moved towards full trade liberalization. Local industries and agriculture collapsed under cheap import. I want you to Google milk powder's impact on the milk industry. Job losses and rural dislocation. Currency depreciation and inflation as markets opened rapidly. What was the PMP response? Introduce social safety net like PATH. Yes. Anybody who benefits from the PATH program should be reminded that that is the work of the People's National Party. It then focused on tourism and services to replace lost industry. They used to say pipeline when we were seeking the Spanish to come. We carried the Spanish here. We established the processes for, at that time, sandals to grow, and at that time, breezy super clubs to grow. Don't worry yourself, you soon get an explanation. What happened? Global oil prices spiked during the Gulf War, and again...
The ugly Morgan brother chat off him out, you know. Yeah, man. I want to come in a cowboy hat and cowboy boot like a damn idiot.
In early 2000, Jamaica being oil dependent saw increased transportation and electricity costs, and of course, bauxite would have faced challenges because of the energy consumption that it did. Notably, there were some events. I hear the crying about what is last one named Beryl. Beryl touched down on St. Elizabeth, and after Beryl, I was out the next day driving up and down. What happened in the PMP's time? Hurricane Gilbert was September 1988. So therefore, it lingered over into February 1989, which we have. Hurricane Ivan was in 2004. Hurricane Dean was in 2007. Destroyed crops, infrastructure and homes, created food inflation, reconstruction costs. The PMP had to deal with that.
Of course.
The EU-ACP agreement ended. Now, because we were, what you call that again? We were colonies. We had a preferential treatment where we sell our bananas at higher prices. So Britain was saying, we have to pay some repayment for what we have done. And they did that with special banana prices, special sugar prices. Senator Crawford addressed me now. Oh, you want to learn too? All right. So they did that special banana prices, special sugar prices. When Chiquita and Dole, Mr. President, research Chiquita and Dole, carried up.
What I want you to do is address the bill before me.
That what you
mean? What you are doing, I want you to address this.
On the can't take these links.
What you are doing really, right?
Prime Minister
we appreciate it, you know.
Things is the Prime Minister graph.
We appreciate it. But see the time.
You know, I'm not looking.
Almost.
You have finan.
1 o'clock.
You can't take these links.
You see, this is what I'm talking about. He was destroying them, so he was trying to, like, you know what I mean, put down the thing. That's what they always do.
People went to court. They carried Britain to court and suggested that this was against WTO agreement. When they won that case, the British had to end preferential treatment for sugar and banana. Because we were dependent on those preferential treatment, that is how banana died quickly, and thereafter sugar also died. Led to job losses, rural economic decline. In that period up to 2007, there was also 9/11. These people forget. Like it's them alone.
Yeah.
In 9/11, when the planes crashed into the World Trade Center, this was September 11, 2001 it was?
Yeah.
GDP growth slowed, government revenue dropped, tourism massive decline.
Yep.
And it wasn't a world like world. It was a fear of travel that permeated the world and lasted for a very long time.
Yeah, people literally never want to travel.
But in spite of all of that,
yep.
In 2000, in the period 1989 to 2007, the PMP ended IMF borrowing relationship, and passed 12 consecutive IMF tests.
Look at that, man.
The IMF test has been used over the last 9 years as a proxy of good governance and fiscal responsibility. Yet the passing of 12 IMF tests in that period is ignored to say that they were fiscally possible. The same reality.
No, you see, that let us listen to that again, because the hypocrisy is real.
IMF test. The IMF test has been used over the last 9 years as a proxy of good governance.
Yes.
And fiscal responsibility.
Yes.
Yet the passing of 12 IMF tests in that period is ignored to say that they were fiscally possible. The same reality.
So they don't play Mama P's contribution of passing 12 IMF tests while boosting up their own fiscal discipline record by doing what they're doing now, which is pretty much less than what Mama P did. Mama P did all the heavy lifting. All they're doing is cruising in the Lamborghini that she constructed. That's all. She and her team constructed a Lamborghini of fiscal discipline that this government has cruised in for the last 10 years and still can't find a way to buy a new Lamborghini, to buy one fresh new Lamborghini that is faster than the one before, more luxurious, one that can expand. They have not found a way to do that, ladies and gentlemen. But yet still they want to claim to be the daddy of this and the daddy of that. I run on the front of Andrew anytime when him chat them foolish there. Just run him away. Straight up, run him away of fiscal discipline and fiscal prudence. Sure. Let's continue, yeah?
Macroeconomic reform happened. They managed the fiscal sector crisis through FinSAC, protected over 1.5 million depositors who had money in the bank, and 570,000 policyholders. They also did Highway 2000 and finished Highway 2000, not in the same way they're doing now over into St. Thomas, that you have to dig up and repave and flood out people's yard. Airport modernization, water, energy and telecommunications improved, housing and land reform. In that period, the PNP government built 150,000 houses.
Wow.
Include completion of Greater Portmore with over 10,000 homes.
Wow.
And that was in 1995 alone. 58,000 families received land titles under what they are trying to malign, the Operation Pride program.
Yes, listen to that. You remember when Andrew tried to disrespect the Operation Pride program, and look at the entity, look at the project that he disrespected it with. When you say fall on the face, Hurricane Melissa exposed it. Good house, the my people and pay much millions of dollars for. Down, down, down. Mighty God.
System strengthened. National Health Fund was established by the People's National Party. Major hospital upgrades. KPH, Mandeville, Spanish Town, Bustamante. Maypen was built. And Mandeville was built. Upgraded. And at that time, there was no cost overrun to the tune of Cornwall Regional. They are telling us that a group of individuals that told the country that Cornwall Regional will take 2 billion to fix. Gone 22 billion and counting. And they are fiscally responsible. Beg some protection. None of us in this room. Anything? Is it not true that it reached 22 billion? Is it not true?
Jamaica, I want you to remember that we had 14 people as members of parliament. So the Senate numbers was lower. And the People's National Party was still kicking faces in with facts. Why you think them so uncomfortable now in a parliament? Them a get exposed more and more every day. Too much sharpshooter. Too much sharpshooter, Jamaica. Too much.
Projection was 2 billion. Is it not true that it has been changed about 6 times? 5 billion more? You can't answer when I hear that. If a mason come to my yard and tell me to fix a problem, it's 2 million. And then come back to say, by the way, it's 22, me and him fight. It will never. Expansion of school. They will not accept that in their own lives. But they accept it in the country's lives. Drugs for the elderly program was set up. Education. Listen, they keep saying in Jamaica, you call election, call it, make them decide then, no, man. Then call it now. You want to call it? Call it now, man. We and the Jamaican people ready. We can't bother with the hot party. The Jamaican people ready to decide. Education and human capital development. In that period, tertiary access jumped. University participation rose from 6.5% in 1991 to 19.5% in 2006. Universal Access Fund was also created. And we had a 500% increase in cell phones, and new fiber optic infrastructure was laid.
PMP do that here.
Some of these people seem to believe that the cell phone came just like that, and if you have money, you buy a phone. Cellular phones could not have worked if the fiber optics were not run and the necessary infrastructure were not put in.
Yep.
It was the People's National Party that did that.
And I sat in here when they proposed the bill.
But I want you to also hear this. Poverty rate reduced from 28.4% in 1990 to 9.9% in 2007. This was due to efforts such as the PATH program, the National Poverty Eradication Program that was targeted. 800 million US at that time, billions now in today's money, in investments, and the TEF fund was established. Now let us compare periods. Tertiary enrollment increased by 306%. Students getting access to universities and colleges. It moved up by 306%. Let us look at Andrew Holness period from 2016 to 2024. It moved up by 3%. It's by 3. You can see it with them, 3%.
Oh my God, no. Tertiary enrollment growth 1989 to 2007 versus 2016 to 2024. 306%. Brother, this a man not even in a PGA rear view mirror. PGA the 2 million trillion light years ahead of him when it comes to education. Mount a school where him build and people there come argue with me about foolishness. Yo, me say me I go repost a video. This a repost. Them out order.
This is the greatest. What variable are we using to analyze that variable?
Them out order, Jamaica.
You don't have the ability. I write a speech from yesterday, never know me ever say. The growth, I'm quoting Minister HOLNESS now, Prime Minister HOLNESS, on poverty. He says, the graph now being displayed, this is the exact graph that the Prime Minister displayed. The graph now being displayed illustrates the trajectory of poverty prevalence in our country. It clearly shows that under my administration, meaning my Andrew Holness administration, we have achieved a steady and measurable decline in poverty, apart from temporary strikes and spikes in 2020 caused by the pandemic. This is a direct quotation of Andrew Holness. Now let us look at the graph. They received in 2016, because his administration is 2016 to now 2024. In 2016, poverty was 11.6%, and now it is 12.1%. It has increased, yet we have a Prime Minister that says this graph that shows an increase in his administration clearly shows that under his administration there's a steady and measurable decline.
So him and Favour Williams do the same thing. They come in the parliament and just lie. In them budget debate. And we should not expect anything different next week, Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. Prepare for the lies. I want the social media people, regular Jamaicans, I want you guys to be so sharp next week, Thursday, that every lie where Andrew tell, I want to show him up on the social media. Every lie. Just beat him, because he might come with them, you know. Beat him with the facts. That I want to do. Andre and all I vlogger them. Zine, where they in Jamaica alone can't do it. Regular Jamaican people, we need to watch the parliament, we need to listen to the Prime Minister when he might talk. And we need to go do the research, and we need to destroy him on the social media when he tell lie. Him to lie Jamaica. Look out for the lie them next week, Thursday.
In his administration, he didn't say there's a decline since COVID. I couldn't argue with that because it goes to 21%. He didn't say after we caused a spike in 2017 up to 19.3%, there's a decline. This man said, how can we trust a man like that?
Can't trust him,
who
brother.
said that in my administration,
Can't trust him.
from 2016 to 2024,
Man cannot be
when
trusted.
at the start he received it at 11.6.
Man, wicked,
and is
brother.
now above what it was. Above what it was.
Man, wicked. Man,
Let us
dangerous.
Let us look, Sophie, move it quickly, because these are the Prime Minister's words, not my words. Move again. Listen, no, make it stadium. This is what poverty handing over was. In 1988, the JLP handed over to the PMP a poverty rate of 30.5%.
Listen to this.
See that?
See that?
I want to put that in glass.
30.5%.
1988, it ended. That
See
is
that?
the last part of the year now.
All right.
So we give them just that now. So we get it 89. 30.5%.
Yes.
The PMP administration got their lambast.
9.9.
Took it down under PJ Patterson and Portia Simpson Miller later to 9.9%. Hold on. The JLP then won in 2011. So we give them it 2007. We give them it at 9.9. They carried it to 19.9%. You hear what I say? More than double it. Come again now. Wait no man, make me stay no man. We don't have time for talk. Wait. The PMP got it back and moved it from 19.9 to 11. Which party is the party for the poor? All kinds of reasons now. You should apologize to the people.
Jamaica, screenshot that. Just screenshot this. All I want to know on the live, screenshot this here. Me say, you know what, I'm screenshot it myself. Because this is what we're not going to do. You understand? This is what we're not going to do. We're not, I'm going to be revisiting all these charts. I'm telling you. These people are dangerous.
You should apologize to the people.
Definitely.
Google it. Google it. No, Google all behind time. AI chat GPT it. You want deep fake it? Make a repeat. In 1988, the last day of 1988, poverty was 30.5%, created by the administration of Edward Seattle.
Yep.
The PMP started now and fought everything that we fought, including what they say is FinZac, including Three Hurricane, including liberalization, including IMF, including bank failure. We took it from 30.5 to 9.9.
Absolute. Complete analysis.
They then, so we saw the trajectory that was happening.
Yes.
And the people say, you know what, make us see what going on. Some young people said, I never seen no labor like that, let me try. And they won. What happened? It moved from 9 to 19%. Based on what they're saying, labor rights salt, man. Every time they come in, they mash up. Every time they come in, something go wrong. We don't want to most our government. They then take it from 9.9 to 19.9. All right, we take it back. And what happened? It went down again
11.1
to 11. And the Prime Minister who says that clearly it is going down under his administration, I've moved it from 11 to 12.1. What?
Yo, Mr. Brother.
I think we have dealt with that sufficiently. Look in the madness.
It's not even funny.
This is the Prime Minister's quotation. It's feed them words, man. And feed them graph. You come like some people when I do their SB and expect to pass it.
Hello. Let's continue.
A one-sided thing. I don't understand.
But you don't so just I asked him to just leave you alone so you can continue.
He doesn't have that in his repertoire, sir.
I just move on.
All right, thank you. The Prime Minister's statement. He says in the mid-1990s, Jamaica faced a financial sector crisis, which resulted in the collapse of a number of financial institutions. This financial sector meltdown was not caused by any exogenous shock or global crises. In fact, the US, our major trading partner, had robust growth in the 1990s, averaging 3.4% per annum. This was purely caused by bad governance, he says, bad policy choices, he says, and poor superintendence, he continues, of the economy. FinZac was a homegrown domestic crisis, he says, wholly caused by the PMP, for which we now are only just recovering. This is a statement by Prime Minister Andrew Holness in the budget debate. Now let us check the facts, Senator Bunting, Senator Scott Matley, Senator Fraser Bates. According to data compiled by the World Bank and the IMF, more than 130 countries experienced bank sector distress between 1980 and 2002. More than 130 countries. Was PJ Patterson the Prime Minister of 130 countries?
Nope.
Was Omar Davies the Finance Minister of 130 countries?
Nope.
But you don't understand this thing. When you are looking for a causal effect.
Mr. Bunting, stop it. Mr. Morgan, give the Senator Crawford, you have been at it now for an hour. Your colleagues have, in my view, given you a free rein to finish your presentation. But you have a number of speakers and you're touching on an hour now. So I'm asking the members just to allow you to complete without the intervention, either
and
support or otherwise.
Don't forget the Prime Minister took 5 hours.
Come again?
Don't forget the Prime Minister take 5.
Prime Minister.
That's why I take 5, I take 2. No way.
You see, you are the ones that gave it.
I don't need to be close to the leader of the party, is Mark Golding. I'm master. Ready. If you're going to look at a causal impact, which they are suggesting, that bad government was a causal impact, then that causal impact must be specific to the space that the outcome is coming from. Now what happens? Crises in over 40 developing and transitioning economies. Many required bailouts. Asset management companies were formed, such as FinZac and IMF programs to stabilize. Let's say if we move, please. What were some of these countries? Countries such as Mexico, Thailand, Indonesia, North Korea, Malaysia, Russia, Turkey, Brazil, and yes, Jamaica. Go again. Come here, hurry up now. Some countries did not save their depositors. Some countries did not intervene on behalf of the pensioners, the poor people. So there were places that people lost money. Saving the money of the depositors was a conscious decision of the People's National Party government.
Facts.
We see Argentina, Russia, Kenya, all of them lost. Come, we have move quicker. I don't want to stop me before I reach the sweet part. I don't reach the sweet part yet. No, don't make them stop me. Give me back that stuff. Yeah. Come, give me back that. No, I can't skip that. I don't want to waste no time. Give me, go ahead. A question we should ask the JLP is what was their alternative? What would they have done if that wasn't the case?
Yes.
What would have happened? Give me two. If the PMP did not intervene, there would have been over a dozen financial institutions that would have been already insolvent or on the verge of collapse. Without intervention, many more would have collapsed. Loss of depositors' funds, especially small savers, poor people. Loss of pension savings for retirees. Frozen or inaccessible accounts, triggering panic. Widespread loss of public confidence. Move, Sophie, we have to move quick because they want to stop us. Massive contraction in credit investment. Business would be unable to access loans or credit lines. Small and medium-sized enterprises, which are critical for employment, would have gone bankrupt. This would lead to mass layoffs, reducing income and sharp recession. GDP would plummet due to business closure, decreased consumption, investors pull out. Pensioners and workers would have been devastated. Many older Jamaicans would have fallen into poverty, unable to meet basic needs. Social unrest and instability would have evolved. Crime would have risen. We'd have lost international credibility and can't get any debt to borrow at this particular point in time. The only way to protect depositors and maintain systematic stability was for the government to buy out the bad loans, recapitalize key institutions, and rebuild confidence. And was there a cost to that? Yes. We had to borrow to be able to afford that. Move ahead because we don't want them said. But we'll put out the slides. That will show you what happened in other countries that didn't do it. We'll put out the slide. It was a hard but a wise decision. You can Google Argentina versus Jamaica financial meltdown. Come again. What would they want us to do? They will want us to follow what they're doing now with SSL. That when people like Bolton and some other people lose their money, them tell them hold up them stress. That is what they would have wanted us to do. They would have said that is fool who put it in there is that we telling them. Had we done that, there would have been straight destabilization of our society. Let's go to unemployment. Yes, because me I try hurry up, it's not being allowed. Don't rush. Talk to me now. All right, then talk to me. Let's go to unemployment. No, I'm not questioning. Give me a chance. Take a seat. My sign language expert is tired right now. Let's go. I'm not questioning the measurement of unemployment. And it suggests that 3.5% unemployment exists. However, Mr. President, we're nowhere near full employment. In economic terms, full employment doesn't mean zero unemployment. It means that nearly everyone who wants to work and is actively seeking work can find a job. A rate around 3 to 5 is often considered full employment by global standards. Now, within that, you have other types of unemployment, hidden unemployment. There is the L2, which is the number of persons who want to work for 40 hours, but not working for 40 hours. So therefore, they're underemployed. Like a man get a day's work or 2 days work, she go wash, she's underemployed. So when we say underemployment, it's not only a person working below the job of its qualification, but the consumption of its hours is not to what they desire. And then there's L3, there's people within the potential labor force that they're still interested in working, but them now find none. So them kind of now look, but they're still interested. But let us move forward. So that's it. However, the working age population, and this is from the book produced by the government, the FPP, the fiscal policy paper. It says working age population is 2,156,000. Willing to work is 1,468,300. Not seeking work is 687,700 people. Listen again. Now, they are not factored into the consideration of our unemployment rate. So it seems...
That's why the unemployment rate is flawed. What he just explained a while ago. I'm still there, you know. I want to know if you hear, because the man a teach, you know. I don't really need to say much, you know. Yo, I said the man a destroy the Jamaica Labour Party in a representation. Totally destroy.
Have an unemployed and a not employed, which is different. Oh, okay. 687,000 people. Now, if we put our head in the sand and celebrate the full employment 3.5, we almost have to import people and not look at 687 people that have surrendered.
That are like quarter of the population, you know? Or more than half of the population. No, quarter of the population. 600,000 people not seeking work anymore, has given up on the system, doing other things. Sometimes some online thing to make money. Some people go into illegalities, but them literally stop look for regular job because it don't help them get to the goals that they want to achieve here in Jamaica.
1,000 have surrendered. Come, let's go. Now, I am not trying to exaggerate. So in my research, I found that the workforce is really 14 to 75. So there's some within that 687 that shouldn't legitimately be in that because they've been in school and stuff like that.
Yes.
So therefore, I removed in school 144,000. And I removed 65 plus 231,000 because I'm not trying to lie by exaggerating.
Right.
It still leaves disengaged labor of ripe labor age, 312,000.
That is still a lot.
There's no policy, there's no promotion, there's nothing.
That is still a lot.
Other than $20,000.
That's about 155 population.
So rich that. These 300,000 people, I can put it to you, are depressed.
Of course.
No wonder they're seeking to divert their mental state from morning till night. The only way an individual can seek to alter their mental state
One man boom.
through alcohol consumption and drug consumption from the time of waking up to the time of going to bed is if they're in mental pain.
Yes, yes.
They have given up, become fodder for gangs.
That's a fact.
Not in the budget.
That's a fact.
Well, you carry me to crime. You read my speech. Crime. I'm reading my speech. The biggest year over year jump in murder is 1979 to 1980. You hear people talk about PGM. The biggest jump was when the JLP decided that by any means necessary they'll win the next election. And that was 1979, it was 351 murders. 1980 got to 899 murders. I must accept that the first year Jamaica murder count exceeded 1,000 was under the PMP's administration, and that was 1997. The highest murder year was also, I think that is incorrect. I think it's, oh, okay. I'll check it. I think, but all right.
The highest murder rate in the history of Jamaica came under the JLP, under Andrew HOLNESS-led administration. It was like 1,600 people that died in that year. 1,600.
So this is correct. So the highest murder rate here was under the Jamaica Labour Party.
Yes, it was.
The second was under.
Yes.
Hold on.
That's a fact.
Let's go further. I never wanted to tell a lie. Ready?
That's a fact.
Now, let us look, Mr. President. Mr. President, I beg you some opportunity. Let us look. Let us look at who is the best and the worst Prime Minister as it relates to murder rate. Under Bustamante, all of this is what the Prime Minister presented, you know. All of this is what this particular graph, this slide, this table, was taken directly from the Prime Minister's speech.
Yep.
Ready now? Was ready? Hold on. No, not this one. I'm lying. This was, yes. No, sorry, I apologize. This is not the one. If this comes from an analysis of the one, I'll carry the one soon. So I apologize. That is not true. This one is not true. But let's look at the numbers. Under Bustamante, the average murder rate for his term was 92.4 murders per year. Under Michael Manley as Prime Minister, 1972 to 1980, the average murder rate for his term was 362.78 murders per year. Under Edward Seaga, 1981 to 1988, the average murder rate was 446 per year. Under P.J. Patterson with Michael Manley, the average murder rate was 932 per year. Under Bruce Golding and Andrew HOLNESS, the murder rate was 1,458 per year. The worst performing group as it relates to murders in this country. Under Portia Simpson, with the assistance of the leader of opposition business, Peter Bunting, and the assistance of Divine Intervention, there was a 1,127. Under this government, this administration, Andrew Holness only, murder is 1,390 per year, the second highest.
Yep.
And he wants to disguise that by saying we had a good month, or a good day, or a good quarter. Under his superintendence, murder is 1,390.
So Andrew Holness saw and supervised and watched and observed while being a senior member under Bruce Golding to have the highest murder rate in as a government. And then when he took the reins, it increased when he won recently. Bro, listen, you cannot make this up. You can't make it up, bro. So he's a part of the first highest and the second highest in the history of Jamaica. But yet still, Ugly Nationwide, Draws Davis, went on their program and called PJ Patterson the most murderous prime minister. Man, listen, hey, me said the amount of yo, me calm down. Let me just play this here, man. Yo.
Yeah, we good, man. Call it Andrew. Look at the graph there.
Senator Brown, you don't have to stand, you don't have to get up. Senator Brown.
And the acting chair spoke to you. I really believe the decorum of the Senate.
You talking about decorum?
Yes, I am doing so. The decorum of the Senate.
Hello, please. Hello, please. Senator Brown, I hear you. Gentlemen, ladies, members of the Senate, please allow the member to complete.
I'm coming to the...
Go ahead, Senator. It's just... Senator Brown, I need to apologize to you. You rose and said that it was a question of decorum, but coming from you, I found that a bit startling. But I apologize.
Well, make a hurry up. I want to finish. Mr. President, look at that. Look at that graph.
What Civ right and this one and the next one? Morgan, a real back of the class, back of bench them, you know. Round there make up be nice and I disturb the man's speech. But let's continue.
Mr. President, look at that graph. The Prime Minister has suggested that the superintendence of crime is a proxy of performance. They have said that.
Look here. 14, this is a JLP. Andrew Holness was right here. 13, that's a JLP. This is Andrew Holness presently. In 2024. When this graph was put up. But, hey, let me screenshot this too. And this has not changed significantly, even with what them are talking about right now in terms of the year what them had last year, which is still in question. You understand? So this average has not changed much.
I heard a radio station said the murder Prime Minister is PJ Patterson.
Yes, thank you very much. So you have the first and second most murderous years them under Andrew Holness. See there? Bruce Golding, Andrew Holness. All right.
Well, let's look into it. The Prime Minister said in the budget that the control of crime is essential for development. This is the budget. The highest year of yearly murders in this country under the highest average of yearly murders in this country under any government was under the Bruce Golding 27 to 2011. The second highest year is under Andrew Holness. And yet they say they are better at managing crime than the PNP. How? Them say this is the start. The numbers are there. You have the numbers. So what is the fact? They never dead? What happened? Give me something. Let's look at this iteration. From 2012, where some of us were present, to now. The gold medal, 2017. Highest murder rate in this period, 1,600. Just look at the whole of the front part. Them not dominate champs. JLP 2017, JLP 2022, JLP 2021, JLP 2023, JLP 2016, JLP 2019, JLP 2020, JLP 2018. every lane full. And look at what we had. 4 of the 5 lowest murder rates. What am I going to say now? Financial crisis? Go again. The Prime Minister said in his speech, if you increase it and decrease it, how you forget praise when you don't reach where it was when you got it? I don't understand what they're saying. Let us recall the Prime Minister says, and this is from his budget tweet, I quote, let us recall that the drop in murders from 2009 to 2014, for which the opposition seeks to take credit, was a direct result of the SOE launched in May 2010 by Jamaica Labour Party administration. Remember what I tell you they're depending on? That the children don't know and the adults have forgotten. Let me remind them.
Yes, remind them, General.
The May 2010 state of emergency was not an effort or a decision to fight crime. It was based on the fact, you know what you said? That there was a crisis in Tivoli Garden. In 2009, let us remind the people, the United States requested the extradition of Dodos Cook, who was a known gang leader and a considered head of the Shower Posse, a violent transnational criminal organization.
Yep.
He was also seen as a powerful figure with political loyalty to the Jamaica
Labour Party. Facts.
The government chose to delay from 2009 to 2010. The Jamaica government under Prime Minister Bruce Golding resisted the request for the extradition, including of, he was leader of government business. Yes. Andrew HOLNESS was a senior member of the Jamaica Labour Party. Yes. The JLP then hired a firm. You hear what I said? They hired a firm to block the extradition. Manat, Phelps and Phillips.
No.
Yeah, me put it.
I'm point about it. Yes, I'm point about it. Mr. President, whilst we all tend to be liberal in respect to presentations that are made by members, and I think that the comments, a lot of his presentation is irrelevant to the bill. It is irrelevant. Well, take the point there. We are in this chamber, and there is a standing order that says that presentations must be relevant to the bill, not relevant to any discussion that may have taken place or debate that have taken place elsewhere. Right? And Senator Crawford has been given wide latitude, Mr. President. And I'm asking
Senator Crawford, you hear what the objection is?
Yes.
Must be relevant to the bill, related to the bill.
Can I respond?
Senator Brown.
It's important. I am addressing.
In this bill?
Yes.
No.
Can I answer, Mr. President? Because I want to finish.
No, when Senator Brown and Senator Sinclair finish, I'll address you.
Sir, I want to finish, sir.
Let Senator Brown go on.
We have the 400 Ergles for watch.
Senator Crawford, you sit down on the side of the chair now drinking water. You're not a champs yet, you know.
Mr. President.
But you see, I am the starter, you know. You get the picture?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I don't want you to disqualify me. Don't disqualify me.
I want you to, Senator Crawford, stick to the bill.
Yes.
Right? And with the greatest of respect, you have been given the latitude. It's 5 minutes past 1. I would appreciate it.
I'm trying to finish the disrupting.
No, man,
Mr. President.
You're encouraged.
Can I respond,
the
sir?
disruption. No, just continue, man. Just continue.
Yes.
Stay relevant and continue.
Is this bill about the budget, Mr. President? And in the budget, is there a segment for security in the budget? And is there a need for analysis of the spending? Yes. I am speaking to what the Prime Minister said was the reason for this budget being casted as it was.
All right, Senator Brown, Senator
He
Crawford,
said
go on, man. Continue, man.
So what you say now? I want to know why I hear this.
Jamaica, they can't manage the brother, you know. They can't manage him. Because when he starts to break down what I do, then realize, say, a foolishness them attack. Him too bright. Him dissecting them too much. You understand? Them like dunceness, you know. If you let me say, I don't like up alive. I tell her.
The Jamaica government and the Prime Minister Bruce Golding resisted the request and hired a firm to block the extradition. This sparked domestic and international criticism, alleging that the government was protecting a criminal figure. Continue. Now what you say? Now when they decided to sign the extradition after pressures, because there's a whole SOE, what was that again? No man, where KD said pack your bags on. But there's a whole thing. There's a whole commission of inquiry. We can analyze it if we want. I don't have to go further. But barricades were set up after he was given time to prepare. By the delay. Barriers were set up. Police stations were burnt. And therefore a state of emergency was called. The state of emergency was not called out of a cabinet decision to fight crime.
No.
That's not true.
Lie them a tell. Yeah.
The government declared the state of emergency. Security forces launched an assault on Tivoli Garden. And 73 deaths happened. I think this is 73 civilians. And they're talking about apologize. Have they apologized to Tivoli Gardens, one of their chief supporting communities, for the deaths that they caused with their decision?
Yep.
But then the Prime Minister in that thing got on some more something. Next one. Suggested that the Prime Minister suggested in his presentation that if the PMP did not end that state of emergency, that crime would have gone down further. Let's look at it because the truth is their enemy. This is, go back up and show them the picture so they know it's true. Oh, this is from the Jamaica Information Service that was being managed by the government of Jamaica, the JLP government, in 2010. Let me read it. Go down, make a read it. The Prime Minister said the PMP ended it. How can we trust this man? It quotes, a resolution to extend the state of emergency, which has been in effect since May 23rd, was not approved in the House of Representatives Tuesday, July 2020. The resolution brought by Prime Minister, the Honorable Bruce Golding, sought to extend the state of emergency in the parishes of Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Catherine to August 21st, 2010. This is the sweet part. The resolution needed 31 votes for approval. But 6 government members, who was the government? The JLP. 6 government members were absent when it was put to the vote. The 25 government MPs who voted in favor was not enough, as the 18 opposition members abstained. So they needed their people, only their people. Only their people. That is gaslighting. I understand from analyzing the Hansard, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, that the current Minister of Justice, Delroy Chuck, was absent. If the Hansard tell me that we love two people, they just want to that. All right, but good. Delroy Chuck, the current Minister of Justice, absented himself. He needs to explain to the people of Jamaica. And the Prime Minister, who was the leader of government business, with the duty and job to make sure the 31 was there, keeps repeating that the PMP ended the state of emergency. How can we trust?
Can't trust the man, brother. Be like the man tell, bro. Be like the man tell, bro.
And he says
Be
that
like the man tell.
all of Senator Bunting's achievements was due to 2 SOEs. Yet when he had multiple SOEs for multiple years, crime increased by 211 murders.
Mighty God.
Between 2018, when he started his SOEs, and when about 2020 after. But Bruce Golding's 2 was the reason why 4 years after you could be successful. Now, what that makes sense? What can go so? What can go so? This is the type of analysis that the Prime Minister is giving. Now they say they save for a rainy day. I hear the finance minister said, oh, we save, and when we save, we can spend, and we can save for a rainy day. They said the PMP is not the saving party. Well, let's analyze a rainy day, because COVID-19 was a rainy day. If there's ever a rainy day, COVID-19, let's analyze. Let's analyze. I already tell you about that already. lies will not win you this election. And now I got you a lie. But when COVID came, they depended on the NHF, which was created by the People's National Party. That is the PMP saving fund that they had to raise. Go on again, Sophie, I don't want it too long. When COVID came...
And them still are read the NHD. Brother, hey, man, I tell you, man, listen, it's not even... It is so... PMP is so far ahead of these dudes, it's not even a joke, fam, in terms of performance. I'm sorry. They don't even try. They don't even try Jamaica.
They depended on the Universal Access Fund. All of the spending for children to get access on the wireless, and that was a PMP saving fund. Come again. They depended on the Tourism Enhancement Fund. Well, go on, man. Let me again. I'll beat them. They depended on NHC. Created by the People's National Party. E-learning Jamaica. PMP saving fund. JC. PMP saving fund. Come again. Chase fund, PMP saving fund. Had it not been for the PMP saving fund, they could not have executed 40 years ago. Where would we be? I give you no heart. I give you no. I rewarded Edward Siakafagad. I gave him a plaque. He came to the dinner. He wasn't as what do you call it now? Biased as you. He came to the PMP while he was dinner, and I gave him a plaque. Look, NHT, created by the PMP in 1976. Michael Manley. Jamaica Social Investment Fund, 1996, PJ Patterson. Chase Fund, 2002, PJ Patterson. National Health Fund, 2003, PJ Patterson. E-Learning Jamaica, 2003, PJ Patterson. Tourism Enhancement Fund, 2004, PJ Patterson. Universal Access Fund, 2004. Did you see Antone's name up here? But that wasn't the source of funds. So it wasn't the saving fund. But it's a program that they depended on. But I'm showing you that how is it that the band raiders are saying that they're better than the farmers of the corn? Argument. You know what I'm making? Argument. Well, now we're going on some ideas, girl. Hurry up in a second. First they said, we don't have no idea. What stupidity is that?
What stupidity?
How could a collection of over 4,000 people have no idea? But they say we have no good idea. Yes. What madness? No, when we link them with ideas now, they say it wasn't costing. I want any Jamaican to go to the presentation by Andrew Jonas in 2015 in this parliament as leader of the opposition going into the election and tell me where his costings were.
There was no costing.
Just go and look back at that 2015. I don't need to tell nobody nothing. Right? It has never been the itemization of each project in the opposition leader's speech. Never been. Give me a chance. Come now. They will steal some ideas. Ready now? Minister Williams' assumption. Minister Williams.
And that's one of the things that they used against the people that don't have the knowledge. They use that against it and said, but the PMP don't have a cost into their budget, so how will they fund it? Well, guess how they're gonna fund it? You see, when they go into power, they do what is called an audit to find out what is there, to see how they can best well fund the plans that they have. But they have to first present the plans that they have. And based off those plans, if you guys like the policy, you vote them in, and then they will show you how they would fund it. Because the government is not being transparent about everything that is actually going on within the ministries. So the PMP could not they would be flying blind pretty much as an opposition, which is not required. It has never been required for the opposition to do that in a budget debate, for them to cost those things. So it was just ridiculous, but people fell for it, unfortunately.
That the opposition promised daily lunch meals at primary and secondary school for all children who are in need. I want you to listen to that. It's a quotation to say for all children who are in need. The government currently spends 9 billion for 200,000 children to get breakfast, snacks, and midday meals for 190 days. If anything is put in this country at risk, it is this minister that is putting this country at risk. Why we know this minister is putting this country at risk, Minister of Finance? Because her cost analysis don't adopt the maths, is not mathsing. If she should spend $280 per child on 200,000 children for 190 days, that is 10.6 billion. The budget is 8.98. So already she out billion.
Yeah, man.
1.66 billion shortfall. How much other bad maths is in this budget? How much other bad maths? At $200 a meal for 190 days. It is either they're lying on the number of children.
Yes.
Because it would be 168,000. Or they plan to feed 31,000 fewer who need.
My God. My God.
Let us not forget that in her analysis of the PMP's proposal, she said 400,000 children are in need. The JLP's proposal is to feed 168. They have decided to sacrifice in this budget.
Yes.
231,203 children that she says, as the former Minister of Education, she should know. That is not in the budget.
Wow.
But she says the PMP needed number is 400,000. She should know. We go to transportation. 50% deep rural problems. So again, Sophie, rural problems. Let's look at student transportation. Oh Lord. Well, let's look. Student transportation. The JLP main program, we have RIDE, Rural Initiative for Delivering Education. They have a national rural school bus system. Number of students to benefit, 50,000 from the PMP side. The current number of students benefit from the Path RIDE program is 7,500. Allocation per child, 2,500 per week via school operators. So, for example, the Dean of Discipline or the Guidance Council will recommend a child who is not coming, and they will say, you know, this one have some troubles, and then the analyst will go and analyze it. Their method, they just catch a bus if you catch a bus. Phase detail, the JLP said that they'll phase the team. Coverage focus, island-wide for the PMP, the JLP is picking 1 and 2 parishes. The role is to reduce absenteeism and improve access. Next one, so. Housing policy. The PMP NHT, we will stop taking the money out of the budget. And they have made heavy weight of this one. When the election is called, after today, the 11 billion from the NHT budget will already been taken out. Therefore, the Prime Minister, to be Mark Bolin, has made a commitment that he will take no further funds from the NHT.
Simple.
People who are activists and acting as journalists are saying, then why is it in this budget? But Prime Minister Andrew Holness said he's building 7 town centers. None of it is in this budget. But nobody asks why is he talking about that in this budget. There's never been a conversation of a budget without painting an overarching view of what we will do. But let's look. Affordability, I love that.
Mr. President, by the Senate, we permitted to sit beyond 1:30 to complete the business of the day.
Senator, the question, your heard those in favor? Those in favor? Those in favor? Aye.
By the way, let me just remind my taxi drivers that the PMP's transportation plan to use taxi drivers to put money in the economy and provide growth.
Yep.
The JLP transportation plan trying to buy bus to compete with them. Make we tell them. Ready now. We have a rent-to-own plan. The rent-to-own plan has been...
We said every taxi driver over there out there suffer. I suffer on I suffer here. Because I don't know what time it is from them time until now. I want to still vote for them. I tell you, hey, the people are really counterproductive. Man.
Continuously conversed upon. This is where if you don't have access to the money, you can go and rent a house, and a portion of the rental will go towards your mortgage, to your down payment, and eventually the rental become a mortgage. When that lead them, they don't know what to say. They have no plan. Young buyers get support. $1 billion fund to give the young buyers $500,000 as a departed health, so that you can go forward. They have none of that. Informal settlements under POSHA will be reviewed. They have nothing like that. Come again. Under housing policy, we also said we're going to have better things for the teachers, but under housing policy, Andrew Holness said in his presentation, Prime Minister Andrew Holness, Dr. Andrew Holness, under the new social housing program, 208 houses have been delivered. Let us do the maths. This program that he takes a picture every time he's giving over one.
Yes.
The one picture. If PJ Patterson was to take a picture of your house, he would take every day for about 30 years. But listen, no problem. The same Prime Minister, Dr. Michael and HOLNESS, he estimates that the need is approximately 6,000 houses. If he has built 280 houses in 9 years, it would take 193 years for him to build 6,000 houses. How is that policy to be celebrated? It might be for this reason that the Auditor General, is it the Auditor General, said that this is a duplicated program that didn't need to be done.
Yes.
And then he responded to say, she either, what like she not sense, but basically disregarded her state.
Yes.
What 193 years? You're going to wait? That don't make any sense. Go again.
No sense at all.
Go again. Tertiary
Poor
education,
policy.
I have some students here.
Poor policy.
University education. And there's 2 left, now what you say? Student loan. The PMP says we will cap student loan payments at a manageable % of your income. We will suspend payments at the period of unemployment. And there will be no penalty. What the JP says, we will extend the loan payment years. So if they extend the loan payment years for $3 million from 7 years to 10 years, it will move to about 39,000 from 46,000. Now, if it now work, we have to get the 39,000.
That more no.
The PMP is better. Of course,
Every time.
The PMP is better.
Every time.
The PMP has also said that we will do a loan default amnesty, so that those who are in arrears and have big penalties, we will remove the penalty and make arrangements. I have seen it for businesses, I've seen it for water, I've seen it for light. Why not for students?
That is it.
What the JP said, not at all. Scholarship access. The PMP said the first person in every family that matriculate to the university will be given a scholarship.
That is it.
That is 6,500 based on our calculations. What the JP said. In his speech, Andrew Prime Minister said he'd give 10 scholarships for construction. 6,500 compared to 10. The PMP is better. Teachers incentive. The teachers will get student loan relief for every year that they remain in the classroom, because we must fight to maintain our teachers. They will also be considered for some form of concession after every 5 years that they stay in the classroom. They don't have to migrate for house and car. It's one slide left, but I'll stop it now. What the JLP says, they don't remember teacher none at all. They don't remember teacher none at all. They don't remember police. With all the effort that the police are putting in, putting them in the line of fire, many police and soldiers cannot get a license of firearms.
Crazy.
And they are now being exposed, sitting down a stoplight, everybody see them, everybody know them. They have an M16 or a SLR for the government in the day, and they cannot get approved for a 9mm in the night.
Worst thing
When
ever.
we get into power, we will give special consideration to the security forces for a licensed firearm.
Of course.
I can't have idea like that. Listen, man. The teachers will get tax relief on their laptops, and we will treat the internet as a tool of trade, because you have to have information to teach. This is not addressed by the jail. We can move on to skill training, but the time is upon us. Because we said that we're going to do a special program to put into all the high schools 4 options of vocational study and have a vocational pathway from 10th grade to 13th grade where you graduate with a level 4 in vocation. They have proposed special projects such as Lift and Care program and mentorship for students. I don't know. Go ahead. The PMP is better. Now let us look at quickly total children or total youth age 17 to 19 to 29. I only have one slide left enough to stop me now. Just 2 more lick and everything all right. Just 2 more papa. Just 2 more of this. No. Nobody watch my style, can we take it? Me. Every style me have them teeth. So don't watch me. Guys, you all them are teeth bubble belly big. None of my opinion them belly down big. Good food in the schools. Good food in the schools. No bad belly, the children will be alright. Ready or no? The government have made heavy weather in this budget that they have a program called Lift. 500 children per year. Every year, they will do 500 from the age 17 to 29. What is the number of persons in this age cohort? Using an average of 36,000 per year, this is taken from the Minister of Finance. That is 468,000 children in the age group 17 to 29. The government has made heavy weather of a program that is going to do 500. So therefore, 500 will be lifted, and 467,500 will be left. So 500 will be left, and over 400 will be left. She said, they said they have other programs. They have another one where the Prime Minister said, and I'm quoting, let me read the Prime Minister quote first. Heart, which is Heart Trust, will be proactive in finding you, this is the person not engaged, and bringing you to the well of training. If our economy is to grow, we need every able-bodied man and woman who is able and capable to enter the labor force. That's what he said. Remember, I just showed you we have 300,000 who decided in 99.
Yes.
The program that he has targets 1,980, 30 per constituency. How can you say that you are going to make a big thing and the advertising budget would have bigger than what they're going to pay to them?
Of course.
Because that's the Mayor's Park, I tell the time by spark. Why we need the road to fix? The time by spark. They have done that alone. Now, on the radio, finally, Mr. President, I have heard Senator Morgan make heavy weather. And I've also seen my former friend, Darrell Van. Oh, that is my former friend. But I still have to try help him because he can't come past any backstopper. So I have to send some backstopper to come. Said that it will cost $1 trillion to fund a first in the family scholarship. Senator Morgan said that the PMP is backtracking because we said one per household. They don't understand the difference between a policy objective and a policy strategy. The objective is to have 1 degree per household. And therefore, we're going to implement a strategy where the first child in every household to matriculate will get a scholarship to the end university upon which they matriculate in Jamaica. Go again, so.
They're not in a sense,
Go
man.
again. You don't have no bashment.
No sense.
All the children are left when they get up. Don't tell me already. Go again. Sophie, do this something quick. Oh, so Mr. President, when you look at the history, the PMP is better. When you look at the present, the PMP is better. When you look at the ideas, the PMP is better. So all I want to say in closing, Mr. President, is that the JP should call the election and come down peacefully. Thank you, Mr. President.
Ladies and gentlemen, a master class that was worth listening to. It was worth the wait. And me rock out, you don't know, because me see when you pile up in a chat, them are hours, yeah, you understand, 60 odd people there in your life. Big up on yourself. All when you don't hit the like button, you're still there and rock out. I encourage you to hit the like button before you go and share the live, see? Alright, God bless you. Soon tomorrow, well later on today, we at it again, we beat them again, because if you don't notice, I one of the video them, I not even go over the full video for Andrew. He tell so much line at the first part, and I have so much evidence to debunk it. We still not go to the second part of the video where I talk foolishness. If you let me say, but we're gonna beat it later again. Zane, the word is love. I'm out.